don't have an unruly attitude.
It's
quite ruly.
Remember when AJ said you were complaining this morning?
When AJ said that?
I said he was offering constructive criticism. There's a difference.
Right. And also, Brittany, you don't need to throw AJ off or under the bus 1 minute into the show.
I'll be honest, you were complaining about something.
What was I complaining about?
Mm-hmm.
I was not complaining. I was telling you a story about something that happened. That's not complaining.
No, that's not complaining.
Complaining is when I go, oh, Christ, I have to work with you. That's complaining.
Complaining is saying that you want to grow like the growth on my back.
No, I said, there was somebody famous that had a big growth on their back, but I can't remember who it is. It looked like a champagne cork. So I don't know, but that's not complaining.
Agreed.
You guys want me to complain? I'll show you how I complain.
Oh, please don't.
It would not be pretty. No. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, I think complaining's fine though.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why you make it such a negative if you did complain about something.
I don't like complainers. There are people that all they do is complain.
Yeah.
Right.
What is that? What causes one person to nonstop complain about everything?
I don't know. Maybe they're just not in a good place mentally.
Well, actually, the generation just behind you, all they do is complain.
You think so?
Oh, God, they nonstop complaining.
I don't know. Well, also, they're still very young.
I don't care.
I just mean like there is like an acceptance of not knowing the world and being a little overwhelmed by everything.
But don't you learn from people? Instead of learning from people, they think the people older than them are stupid.
I don't feel that with Gen Z.
Don't you?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know anybody. What Gen Z's, what group?
Is AJ's that right on the cusp of Gen Z?
Oh, they're that big of assholes?
Yeah, they're
well,
that
that's
big.
different then. He just stares at me.
They're
he's on the phone. Never mind. He doesn't even know what we're saying. He has no idea what we're saying.
So yeah, I think that I don't know. I like the younger generations. I love teenagers right now. They're very funny. But I always like teenagers.
And what generation is that? Z?
I don't know if that's now Alpha or Gen Z.
When did it start being lettered anyway?
I don't know.
Gen X, is that the first one?
It just helps us attack each other.
Right. Yeah, there's really no reason for it.
What's right after baby boomers?
Gen X.
That is Gen X.
Is that?
Okay. I think. I don't know. I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was the greatest generation because they all fought in World War II, and then the baby boomers because all these babies were born after World War II. And but then I think your generation is Gen X, I think.
Mine is I'm a millennial.
Oh, that's millennial. That's right. That's right.
Let's see.
And what does that mean?
So we've got the greatest generation. That's a hard one to pass up. The silent generation was born 1928 to 1945.
Yeah, that's right, exactly.
Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964. Gen X was born 1965 to 1980. Millennials are 81 to 96.
Now, why millennials? Why was it called millennials?
Probably because it crossed over into the 2000 Y2K, all that type of stuff. So it'd be a new millennium.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. They'd have to be over 24. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
From one millennial to the other?
Yeah.
Millennium, excuse me.
That makes sense.
I suppose. I've never really noticed that I gave a rat's ass about that either. My whole life have had friends a lot older than me and a lot younger than me. What the hell do I care?
And then next is Generation Z, born 97 to 2010.
We've moved on. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, I was going to tell you the last one.
No, Tevin and I decided.
Go ahead. What's the last one?
Nope, I'm not going to tell you guys. You want to be dicks? You can go ahead and sit alone.
It's called the You Want to Be Dicks generation?
That's a weird thing.
That's a very weird name. They could do better.
Terrible.
It's going to not roll off the tongue.
It's a terrible title.
Those wannabe dicks are just so terrible.
Yeah.
They're ruining the world.
They're ruining the world.
So what is the last one?
Fine, I'll tell you.
After Gen Z?
Generation Alpha, born after 2010.
Why did they start over? Because Gen Z, why did they go X, Y, Z and then right back to A?
Where are they going to go?
Why didn't they start at A? That's my question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, like what?
You see what I'm saying?
But the greatest generation is pretty good title.
But they don't use that. You said they called that the...
No, they do.
Yeah, that was the first one.
No, that wasn't the first one.
Yeah, it was.
The first one was what?
The greatest generation.
No, it was not. It was like there was some other title.
But then there was the silent generation.
Yeah, silent.
Yeah, but that's the second.
The first one I said was the greatest. And I go, that one's hard to beat. That was the first one.
Now, wait a second. When was the silent generation?
1928 to 1945.
See, that's not correct.
Okay.
Because it was the greatest generation fought in World War II.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't understand. Yeah, whatever. All I know is that you're all a pain in the ass generation. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying it would be really nice to be the greatest generation.
Wouldn't be bad. You know who was big into that was Tom Brokaw.
Was he?
I used to love talking to Tom Brokaw about that whole deal. Did I ever tell you my dinner with Tom Brokaw I had?
No.
Nope.
Yeah, a listener sent it up. It was very, very nice. Actually, the guy became kind of a friend. But he said, Tom Brokaw is going to be in town. We're going to go out to dinner. You want to go to dinner? We're going to have probably maybe 10 people, something like that. So I show up, and the host was very nice. He sat me right next to Tom Brokaw, which I thought was quite an honor.
Yeah.
Catherine sitting to my left. And then the two chairs left of Catherine were empty all night. I said, that's kind of weird. Tom Brokaw's. And by the way, Brokaw was terrific.
That's awesome.
Really great guy to talk to. Learned a lot from him. The whole thing was a really, really nice deal. There's no question about that. But at the end of the night, I said, it's kind of weird that, you get a chance to have dinner with Tom Brokaw and you don't show up. And the guy says, well, there's a reason for that, and you're not going to want to know what it is. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, there's a reason they didn't show up. I said, why? He goes, you sure you want to know? I said, yeah. Why? They said, it was Walter Mondale and his wife, and he didn't come because he found out you were here.
Oh, damn.
A United States Senator wouldn't show up because I was there. How weak are you?
How honored were you?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because that's kind of cool.
Chasing away U.S. Senator. Oh, Vice President of the United States.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. He was the Vice President of the United States. Walter. The one thing I love about the Mondales so much, I knew Eleanor a little bit, but I didn't know her really well.
Yeah.
She lived with a friend of mine for a long time. But the Mondale, I don't know Ted. I don't know him at all. I don't think I ever met him.
Okay.
Come to think of it. I don't know anything about him, whatever. But Eleanor was, I don't really know her, but she was pleasant enough a couple of times that I ran into her. But Walter thought he was the smartest man on earth. And after talking to him for 5 minutes, you know that he's not. You know what I mean? It's one of those deals.
I think if you're dumb enough to think you're the smartest, we have a problem.
No, there's no question about that. And another thing I love up in the, I suppose it's, I don't know, what's the big, like we're all the big, what the hell's the name of those places up there around Brainerd? They're
like the Iron Range? Is that what you're thinking?
No, Brainerd's got all the resorts and all that
like
stuff.
Craigens and
yeah, they're all by Brainerd, aren't they? Or are they further north?
I'm not sure.
Anyway, there's a bunch of places to stay up there, and I did notice this, and I thought it was terrific that when you drive by the Mondale residence, the Mondale cabin, you cannot see the cabin, right? As you drive by, it just looks like woods.
Yeah.
Then finally, like after a while, about a year or two, or maybe it might have been a couple of months, there was a huge sign in front of the trees that said Mondale residence.
Damn.
You just had to know that they had a cabin in there.
That's kind of weird because I don't think I would want people to know.
No, hell no.
That's on Gull Lake, right? Is that what you're trying to guess?
I think that's right. I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I just think that kind of blows my mind. You would think that having that little bit of, security and the fact you're hidden would be lovely.
You'd think.
And also, if you wanted everybody to know or see your cabin, why would you just buy a more visible cabin instead of one that's hidden off in the woods?
Well, I agree. But apparently, I don't know. Walter was a weird guy. There's no question about that. Walter had a massive ego, for one thing. He had a huge ego.
That makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I suppose. And I'm not saying he was a terrible guy or anything. I didn't know him well enough to judge who he actually was, but he was an interesting cat. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles are at Xcel Energy Center on their farewell tour. It's Saturday, November 18th, and you can see them with me in my suite. To enter, just go to the Tom Barnard app or the website at tombarnardshow.com. Listen for your name to be announced each day, 8, 9, and 10 o'clock. Email us back by midnight at contests@tombarnard.com. That's contests@tombarnard.com. And you win Today's qualifier name for the See the Eagles with Me in My Suite is Aaron Pace of Lauderdale, Minnesota. Aaron Pace, email us by midnight tonight at contest@TomBernardShow.com. That was pretty smooth.
That was beautiful.
That couldn't have been put together by Amy or
No.
It's constructed far too well.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree. Even though I hate it.
Why? What do you hate?
I hate whenever I accidentally attack Amy because you set me up to attack Amy. And I catch myself mid-sentence where I go, yeah, that was really good. Could be Amy. And I was like, yeah, wait, no, it could be. She's very smart.
He's one of those women, though, that gets it. If I'm always nice to you, it means I don't like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I don't know you. If I don't know you, I'll be nice to you, too. But if I know you a long time and I'm always nice to you and never tease you or say you're an idiot.
Yeah, I feel very safe in our relationship because of that fact.
I tell you, you're a massive pain in the ass. It means I really like you.
Yeah, we're good.
Right?
Yes.
Judd, you get that. If I call somebody a massive pain in the ass, it means I still deal with them on a daily basis. So I must like them. If they're a massive pain in the ass, I must really like them.
I absolutely do. Being nice to people is the worst thing that you can possibly do if they think that you like them in life, because it definitely 100% means you don't, right?
Yeah, it's a Minnesota thing. There's no question. That phony Minnesota smile. And again, I was born and raised here, and I love living here. Don't get me wrong. But there is a phony side to Minnesota. Smile in your face and stab you right in the back, man. There's a group of Minnesotans that love to do that stuff. Oh, yeah. Well, what's the old thing about in this town, they'll talk to you, they'll be nice, blah, blah, blah. The one thing that they won't do, give you their address. Oh yeah, that ain't happening. That's the truest thing about us. We'll keep you at arm's length, baby, but yeah, we ain't inviting you to our houses. No, it's a whole different deal, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And again, I loved growing. I'm telling you, people don't believe me when I say I loved growing up in North Minneapolis. Yes, it was a very, very poor neighborhood. Once you got across Penn Avenue to the west, they had a little more dough over there. There's a Jewish area over there. But we got along. It was interesting. I loved living there. I look back with great fond memories. Now, look, part of that might be the fact that, 3 of my mother's family members were murdered. So I got used to the idea of murder. Maybe that's what's part of it. Wow. Yeah. 2 of them named Augie and 1 named Eddie. So, there was Augie Sr. and Augie Jr. They were both murdered. Really? Well, that's sad. Jeez. Yes, sir. But no, I was, you saw it coming, though. As a kid, I don't think that would be that easy to take, but well, no, Augie the second, that was tough to take because I really liked him a lot. No question. You know what he always wanted to do? What's that? Every time I talked to him for years, he goes, Tommy, I can't wait to turn 40. 40 years old. At 40, it means you're a mature man. You got it all locked in. I cannot wait till I'm 40. Got murdered at 39. Oh, God. Oh. Like, okay. Well. So close. So damn close. He didn't quite make it, but what are you going to do? So the World Series turned out to be a huge flop. Yes. Yeah. Game 1 was fantastic. And I think after that, in Texas, boy, you know what? I was reminded last night of why I don't gamble on sports. Because at the start of the playoffs, if you had said, hey, you know what? Put all your money on the Rangers and let it ride, I would have said, bleep you. They got no. I saw them play against the Twins. I told you that. When they played against the Twins, they looked awful. I thought they'd be out in the first round. On the last day of the regular season, they lost. And by doing so, fell from what would have been the American League West champion to a wild card. So this is why, again, Arizona and Texas was the most unlikely World Series I think you could have possibly mapped out. And I don't see how anyone, short of just a complete guess, could have seen that one coming. I think you're absolutely right about that. No question. It wasn't much. I really didn't even watch much. I watched, I would say a grand total of about 5 or 6 innings of the entire World Series. I mean, you knew Texas was going to win anyway. I didn't think it was going to be that bad, 4-1. But you kind of figured that Texas was going to win the World Series once they went up against Arizona. Not that Arizona was that bad a team, but it's just Texas is a lot better team. So no surprises.
And now the season is done, and we can turn our attention to spring training and how the Twins are potentially going to disappoint us again in 2024.
Yeah.
So now everything is right with the sports world from a Minnesota point of view.
You are correct, sir. So anything important going on in sports?
Well, did you see who died?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Bobby Knight.
Bobby Knight, which, yes, I was just going to say, which gets to some of the greatest Sid stories of all time.
Oh, God. I was reminded of that story, and several people sent me that story. Who the hell was the reporter again? I was at a press conference, a news conference in Minnesota after an Indiana-Minnesota basketball game, and some reporter said some snarky thing.
Yep.
Who was that again? And Bobby Knight lit him up like a Christmas tree and said, I am not doing the press conference with that son of a bitch still in the room, and I'm not doing it. But he was much worse than that.
Really? Oh, I don't remember this, but I mean, I'm not surprised one bit.
Oh, God, no, not with Bobby.
I'm not surprised. You know what the thing about this death is? We ordinarily, right, as not just sports fans, as humans, when somebody dies, we work our damnedest to like remember them as great people. Like there have been a lot of people who have died, and the way that they are reinvented after death as just great people is just incredible. Bobby Knight, even we can't do that.
No.
Even we can't go back and say, you know what, he really was a great guy. It's impossible.
No. Well, you know what's funny about that with Sidney, and don't misunderstand me, Sidney, I loved Sidney. He was a great guy. Chad and I are still really good friends. Sid was nuts. There's no question about that. But he was such an interesting character and all the rest of it. But for a guy as, kind of doting on people as Sid used to do, for a guy like that, most of his friends were raging pricks. It was weird. Bobby Knight, Ted Williams was not a pleasant man.
Steinbrenner,
not a pleasant man at all. It's like
that is so true. That is, you just nailed it, Tom. It is so true. And it was all these people that you were literally like, why would you like? I understand why you might be friends with them, but like, why are you defending them so staunchly? And it was a laundry list of guys that were, as you just said, pretty much pricks. And Knight probably at the end of the day, if you had to make a list, I think Knight had to be at the top, right? I mean, he was in his heyday.
Throwing chairs out on the court. Bob Knight was a complete psychopath, but he was also one of the greatest basketball coaches of all time. And so it was this weird juxtaposition of, do we hate this guy because he's kind of an asshole, or do we appreciate him for his greatness?
If Bob Knight came along, if a Bobby Knight clone came along today, he'd last about a year and a half.
People just wouldn't put up with him.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're probably right about that.
They'd fire him before he could ever because you're right, Tevin. Bobby Knight was probably like one of the great X's and O's guys, right? Like one of the great basketball guys. But to use Tom's words, you talk about crazy. I mean, the throwing the chairs thing is what he's remembered for, but the meltdowns and the belittling of people and the sort of the behind the scenes stuff that started to come out towards the end of his tenure at Indiana. I mean, all of that stuff. Again, I don't even think that we can make this one into, well, he really was a great guy, and here's why. This is one of the rare ones.
Yeah, he was the quintessential, like, tough love coach. I'm going to scream and cuss at you, but it's, to make you a better player.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it tough love, though? I'm not sure it was tough love.
No, it's probably genuine hate and disdain for not running the plays correctly.
I think you're right. There's a clip. So I saw this tweeted out last night. I'm sure it is on YouTube as well, but there is a clip that I have either not seen or completely forgot about. It's his coach's show, and it was the TV show in Indiana. And clearly at the time, the Hoosiers were either losing or just not playing up to Bobby's satisfaction. And so he's asked a question about it, and he starts to, and you can tell he's annoyed, but he's answering the question. And as he's answering it, you could see he's getting madder and madder. And halfway through, he starts just dropping F-bombs and raging. And he finally takes off the microphone that's attached to his sweater, spikes it down and says, "I'm not doing this effing show," and walks off the set.
Oh,
I love that. I did find it, by the way. I got it from Jeff Passolt last night. I got this from a number of people, but Jeff was the first one to send it to me, that he was dead. Maybe I already told this story. The Gophers beat Indiana at Williams Arena. Bobby Knight comes to post-game interview table, a fat guy who works for a stringer, and it says fat guy who works for Stringer Service, sends sound bites to ESPN, also the soundbite company, right? He comes rushing with his microphone to the table and says to Bobby Knight, "Can you hurry up? I have a deadline in 10 minutes." He said that to Bobby Knight.
Oh my God. Okay.
Oh,
And he lived to tell the tale.
I don't know. I haven't gotten to the end. The reporter, a fat guy, runs up and says, "Can you hurry up? I have a deadline in 10 minutes. Bobby looks at the rest of us in the room and says, "What do you guys think? Should I punch that fat effer in the mouth or start the press conference?" There was an awkward pause from all of us. Then he says, "I'm only doing the press conference if that fat effer leaves." Poor fat guy had to waddle out of the room, and Bobby started like nothing had happened.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Jeff Passolt, one of the greats of all time. The fat effer.
That is wild.
Oh, he didn't say effer, by the way.
Oh, no.
He did not. He used the whole word. Oh, I love
Which
it.
is the least surprising thing of all time.
Yeah. Probably the nicest thing Bob Knight said to a reporter.
It could be.
Yeah. One of the
fat
nicer
effer.
things, yeah.
That's kind of nice of you. Thank you for noticing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he was a piece of work. He just would not, he didn't care what anybody thought.
And to go back to your story, Tom, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, I want to say that I did hear that I think it was Sydney who introduced Ted Williams to Bob Knight, and they became big hunting/fishing friends.
Yeah, he did indeed. Absolutely. It's a big story.
Shockingly, Teddy Ballgame and Bobby Knight got along really well. I'm really surprised by it. Can you imagine the cantankerousness in that boat between those two?
Is that like a kind of magnetic deal, the prickishness kind of?
I mean, Teddy, you're right about Ted.
Either away or together. I'm not
Either way
sure.
or together, exactly.
You talk about two guys that would have bitched about life and everyone in it.
Oh my
yes. God, they would have been. I would pay a lot right now to hear that conversation.
In the spirit of things, I have a Bobby Knight rants from 1995.
Uh-oh.
He's
Beautiful.
It's a press conference. I'll just let you guys listen.
And there's Bob Knight having a discussion with an NCAA official who allegedly thought that he wasn't showing up for a post-game press conference after a loss. And what did Knight have to say? Well, folks, cover your ears and listen to this.
We only got two people that are going to tell you I'm not going to be here. One is our SID and the other is me. Who the hell told you I wasn't going to be here? I'd like to know. Do you have any idea who it was?
Yeah, I do.
Who?
I'll point them out to you in a while.
They were from Indiana, right?
No, they're not.
No, weren't from Indiana, and you didn't get it from anybody from Indiana, did you?
Could we please?
No, I'll handle this the way I want to handle it now that I'm here. You it up to begin with. Now just sit there or leave. I don't give a what you do. Now, back to the game.
Now, back to the game.
I would have gotten along really well with Bobby Knight. I only talked to him once when I answered Sid's phone at his house.
Yeah.
He was talking to Sid. He was very pleasant then.
Also, in that clip, like in Bob Knight's defense, the guy didn't get his source from anybody directly related to the team, so he kind of has a right to be upset with that.
Well, yeah. I'm going to do this whether you like it or goddamn not.
I don't care if you stay or leave.
Right.
It was the most avoidable thing too, because the guy was told that he just wasn't going to show up for a press conference, and he was
Right.
running 5 minutes late. So then the guy pulled him aside and had a word with him, like after he showed up late, and that's what set him off. If you just let him go about his business,
Yes.
that whole thing is avoided. But then he
Yeah.
made, it's classic him to make it a spectacle and really tear into you.
I love that he's like, yeah, let me guess. It was a guy from Kansas. It wasn't. That's what I meant. It was not a guy from Kansas,
That's
right?
exactly right. Too.
Just cannot get out of
Indiana
your own
was
way.
Indiana,
Indiana, was it?
Yeah.
No, that's what I was saying. It was not.
There's two people that could have told you that, and it wasn't either one of them that told you. F you.
You know what? You're dead to me.
So hold on a second, Tom. Why were you picking up the phone at Sid's place? This is a story within itself.
Oh, you never heard that story?
No.
I thought I told you that story. Maybe I told Phil.
You never told me that story.
Many, many years ago, Sydney calls me and goes, Bernard, I'm coming to pick you up. We'll go over to the cabin. He had a cabin. It was about a 30-minute drive, by the way. Well, Sid never went up to the cabin. He went to east to the cabin. He had a cabin on the St. Croix. The beautiful old house. It was not a cabin. It was a house, actually. Big difference. So anyway, we get there, and as we're walking in, he says to me, do me a favor, just hang out here. I got to leave for about a half an hour. I said, we just got here. What do you mean? So I got something to do. I got to go get this done. I'll be back in a half an hour. If anybody calls, because that was still the days of the desktop phone and all that.
Yeah.
And so I said, okay, well, I'll just hang around here. So I'm just standing there. The phone rings. I answer the phone. Sid Hartman, residence, goes, yeah, I'd like to talk to Sid. I said, well, I'm sorry, sir, but Sid's not here right now, but could I take a message? He said, yeah, would you tell him that Ted Williams called? I said, yes, sir. I will tell him that Ted Williams called. I can do that. No question. So I jotted down. So then I'm there about 10 minutes later. The phone rings again, and it's George Steinbrenner. So I write down George Steinbrenner call. Then about 10 minutes after that, so Sid's going to be back in about 10 minutes, 5 minutes, something like that. Phone rings again, and it's Bobby Knight. He goes, yeah, it's Bobby Knight. Sid there? I said, no, I'm sorry, sir. He's not there. God damn it. I said, well, I'm sorry, but he goes, I don't care if you're sorry or whatever. Just tell him that I called, and hangs up on me. I don't care if you're sorry or not.
That is the right there, the holy trinity of Sid friends.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, once again, that's one of the things in my life. There was no reason for that to happen. I just am a very lucky guy that I in my life got to talk to Ted Williams, Bobby Knight, and George Steinbrenner. I mean, they didn't know who the hell I was, but I kind of an interesting.
Yeah, who cares?
I don't care. Whatever.
Yeah.
I've been very lucky in that way. No question about it.
Well, but I mean, you created your luck by actually following through to pick up Sid's phone, which I'm sure a bunch of people wouldn't have done for him.
They probably would not have answered the phone. I think you're right.
They probably would have been like, yeah, screw it. I'm not going to get the phone.
No doubt about it. All right, Palomino, we won't be talking to you tomorrow because tomorrow's Friday. What the hell?
Tomorrow's a Phil day. Tomorrow you'll be talking to Mackie, and I'll talk to you again on Tuesday, 2 days after Jaron Hall makes his debut. It'll either be spectacular or spectacularly bad.
Hey,
but it won't be in the middle.
How many shows do you two do together?
Oh, God. Age, you want to take a guess? A Viking show?
Like throughout the week or just in general? I mean, what you do at least 2 a day, depending on if it's Twins or Mackie and Judd, and then Purple Daily. I mean, I would say it's somewhere 15-ish, like a week. 15
shows a week?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody keeps telling me I should come on some show of yours, but I can't remember which one it is.
Twins, probably.
Oh, is it the Twins one? Is there a lot of smartasses on there?
Well, Judd's on.
No, it's just like the three. It's just like Declan, Phil, and me. That's it. Unless you just consider me to be a complete smartass.
Well, that's just a gift.
Which, I mean, I'll take as a compliment if you do. If you don't, I understand that too. Brittany's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I said, I'm pretty sure that's absolutely true. I just didn't want to be aggressive. Yeah, I would put you in the smartass character.
Oh, you could be no, be aggressive. That's way better.
Oh, perfect. And yes, you are.
Don't be passive aggressive.
Apparently, apparently, you guys do some show where one of you or all of you gets crabby on that show more than other shows. You have a show like that?
Well, the crabby quota ordinarily is taken up by me. So I'm not sure where the other. I'm not sure. I got to be honest. I'm crabby a lot of times. I'm not quite sure about the rest of the. Phil and Declan are a little bit more. How can I put this? Positive than I am.
Positively what?
Positive about the teams. Positive about life. I'm not as positive as most, but I'm also older than them, so I've seen more crap.
That's true.
And you're not negative, Judd. You're realistic.
Yes.
No, sometimes Judd is absolutely negative.
Yes.
Great call. So basically, if I do come on your show, I'm just going to sit behind you and go, "Yeah, you're right. This sucks."
Well, you could top me. There's no question about it.
Oh yeah, crabbier than you do.
Yeah, you could definitely. I mean, it depends on the topic. If it's the Twins, you've seen more than I have. You see, it's all about perspective. How much have you seen?
We'll have a crab off.
A crab off. We could have a crab. I could even do this. Crab. Do the crab.
So like that, you could come up with a graphic for it, like crab legs, like the graphic. That's a great idea. You see right there.
There, done.
Tom's being
Hall of Famer Tom Barnard. There's a reason for it. That's why. Exactly right.
Nice try. All right, Pally, we will talk to you on Tuesday.
All right, everybody. Have a great weekend. See you later.
Thank Judd Zulgad, ladies and gentlemen. Score North. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes. Chris Egert will join us right after that. You all have helped support MyPillow and their employees in these tough economic times, and I appreciate that. Dawn. I called Dawn last night to see when she wants to be on. Didn't even call me back.
What?
Backstabber.
It's because she was sleeping on her pillow.
She's sleeping on her MyPillow, exactly. Mike Lindell knows this and continues to give back to listeners with deals on his most popular products. You've heard me recently speak about the My Slippers, the Giza Sheets, MyPillow 2.0, and more. Great news. The MyPillow 6-pack bath towel sets are back in stock. The proprietary technology makes them extremely absorbent, yet still provides that soft feel you look for in a towel. The set comes with 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. Regular price is $79.98, and for a limited time, you can get this 6-pack towel set for only $39.99 with promo code TOM. That is a 50% savings. So go to MyPillow.com, use promo code TOM to save 50% on the MyPillow 6-pack towel sets. That is just $39.99 for a set. This deal will not last long. Enter promo code TOM for this special and many more.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to Me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. So I'm here. I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. And Elizabeth writes, I am a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling, only to gain it right back. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. Let me assure you that the short 60 days is totally worth it. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. Great job, Elizabeth. I'm so happy to hear about your success, and I'm being sincere about that. Are you ready to lose weight and feel better? Go to mnfatloss.com and schedule a free phone consultation. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. You don't have to take time off work or get a babysitter for the kids. It's as easy as getting on a quick call with the expert staff. You can share your goals, learn about the program, and see if it is a good fit to help you lose weight and feel better. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is the unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear your success story.
And in the master's chambers, they gathered for the feast. They stab it with their stealing eyes, but they just can't kill the beast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. News brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Josh Arnold bringing you Chris Egert. What's happening, Pally?
Good morning.
Guten Tag. That's the German. My mother was German. So there you go.
Nice.
I had my stepdad. They all spoke Hooter German, which is like Hutterite.
Oh, Hutterites,
yeah. So they all spoke this kind of a different German. So I always picked up a little bit of it, but it was weird because it wasn't like the real German that you probably knew.
You know what I love though? My brother-in-law, Patrick O'Brien, whom I adored. He's unfortunately died very young, but I just loved that man. Very brilliant. He was a teacher at North High School, Lincoln Junior High, just a real dedicated teacher type of a guy. But Pat, when he didn't pay attention, like I said, he's a very smart guy, but when he didn't pay attention, he could do things that were a little odd. Patrick O'Brien, father Irish, mother Puerto Rican. Tommy O'Brien, his youngest brother, is still one of my best friends in the world. I love the guy. But he thought he was going to be nice around my mother and tried to speak a little German once in a while.
Oh, no.
Right? Apparently, Dankeschön didn't register with him. So every time for about 2 days, my mother brought him something. He'd go, "Oh, Dankentag."
Oh, no.
Which means thank day.
Yeah.
So it's like, what? He kept going, Dankentag. Well, Dankentag. Thank day.
Your mom's like, what an idiot.
Dankeschön.
She's just like, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Just get him to shut up kind of thing. Like, give him more stuff.
You'd have loved him. God,
funny.
I tell you, honest to God. I remember one time somebody was being mean to me and he came over and slammed their door so hard that shattered the glass in it. He's like, yeah, I wouldn't piss Pat off if I were you. I'm just
nice.
Great family, the O'Brien family from North Minneapolis. Anyway, stepping out of your way. So Duncan Tog for coming on today.
You're welcome in German.
You're welcome in German.
At the end, I'm going to go, well, Auf Wiedersehen. We'll just keep going. Do we still have the largest German population in the United States, in Minnesota?
I don't know that for certain, but we do have a fairly large German population.
Yeah, we do.
That's for sure.
At one time it was the highest, but I don't know if it still is or not. I have no idea. I have no clue.
I could pull up the census real quick, but it may not be that quick. It might take me longer than you'd think.
Indeed. It's all true. So what's happening in your world, Pally?
Well, we had a fire there was a fire last night. A gentleman died, unfortunately.
Where?
So that was our northern Columbia Heights.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah, there was a bunch of people in the house and they lost a couple pets. And so that was our main story this morning. And then, we were kind of tracking everything going on with Israel, and President Biden was here yesterday, and he was basically calling for a humanitarian ceasefire, and you're starting to see more calls for that. Although I don't think Israel's really, I don't think they're game to that from anything I've read.
Mm-hmm.
What were you going to say, Ted?
Oh, I was just going to say listening. Or
Yeah.
did anything happen from the ceasefire protest that was downtown last night? They ended up marching right outside my building that I live in, so they was kind of see everything. But
yeah, there were quite a few people down there. There was a lot of displeasure voiced against the Biden administration because they've been in very vocal supporters of Israel. So there was a lot of yelling and a lot of protesting and whatnot. Nothing came out of it. As far as that goes. But
yeah.
Have you asked anybody of the college age, why are you so anti-Israel? Why are you so pro-Palestine? Look, I'm not saying I'm either one, but why are they? Do they even know why they are?
I guess I'm kind of back with what Tevin was saying yesterday. If I see something on TikTok and, it's going to drive home a certain point, whatever that might be. And if they're starting to fall into some of those algorithms and seeing that stuff, I don't know, maybe, I'm sure there's a fair amount of people in that crowd who have a good understanding of the world, but I can't say that. I've got a college student at home and I don't know that he's got a great understanding of the world.
Right.
So,
I don't know. I never thought I'd see a day when the United States would turn on Israel the way they have. It's amazing to me. I never, ever thought I'd see that. And again, do a little research. World War II, the Jews took it kind of on the chin, losing 6.5, 7 million people to the gas chamber.
I also heard a story yesterday, or did I read it this morning, that Russia's saying something to the extent of that they'd like to go back and get Germany, or I mean, some like crazy. I mean, that's what I mean. Like that's what happens, right? Like, the world can't walk and chew gum at the same time. So while everybody's focused on what's going on in the Middle East, Russia's continuing everything in Ukraine and making all kinds of crazy, saying all kinds of crazy things. So
I'm going to go back 175 years. I've had it with the people in Missouri, south of the Mason-Dixon line. I don't even know what the hell that was. I have no idea where that crossed.
Well, there's plenty of people who'd like to fight that fight again too. Which again is like crazy to me. Like, oh my, can we move on? But I'm a northerner. I think the viewpoint's a little bit different in South.
So if you went directly south, would you have to get through Iowa and then Missouri, or to get to the Mason-Dixon line? Or where did it come across directly south of us?
I don't know that. Maybe somebody can pull it up, but I always thought of this part of the country, although we were considered north. I feel like the Mason-Dixon line didn't like go all the way across the continental United States.
I don't think it did. I think you're right, because 1865, I think, was the first.
I don't think there was, the United States weren't what they are right now. So.
No, it looks like once you get further south than Iowa, that's the Mason-Dixon line.
Really? So it was Missouri.
Missouri?
Yep,
It's
Missouri.
It's like straight across from the line that borders Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Oh,
like straight across.
Straight across from there.
Yeah.
But Minnesota wasn't even a state until what, 1865 or 1855 or something like that?
Yeah.
I'd have to refer to my Minnesota state flag, which there's not one hanging in here.
You don't have one hanging in there anymore?
Stupid redesign.
Right. You're going to have to tear it down. Do they send you a new one right away? Do you get like the prototype since you're in the news?
I'm going to fall back on a Tom theme right here. I guarantee somebody's going to make a lot of money off that new flag. When
you got that right. It's always about money. Everything is about money. It's unbelievable. But that's
maybe
God.
Big Flag is driving this whole change.
Yeah.
Maybe it's got nothing to do with politics or people wanting to redo the logos. Maybe it's Big Flag money that's pushing it that way.
Big Flag money, baby.
We've read these articles now. We first started talking about it like 6 months ago, and now we've got the official deadline for your flag submission. Do we get to vote on the flags? Is that the end of it? Or...
I don't think it's a public votes thing. I think the commission narrows it down to like 6, from what I recall, and I don't remember them ever saying the public gets input.
Okay.
But
why not?
I could be wrong.
That'd be awesome.
I'll tell you why, is because what I think it was like winter ago or 2 winters ago, they did like a name a snowplow.
Yeah, we do it every year. Yeah.
And the winner was like Plowy McPlowface.
Yeah.
Yes, Plowy McPlowface.
I think that was the test run to see whether or not we were responsible enough to do the flag.
On South Park, they had this big thing where they were changing their mascot, and the kids got to vote, and it was like poop face versus douche.
Oh, yeah, it was a turd sandwich.
Yeah, that's what it was. Turd sandwich. Yeah.
Oh,
so funny.
The second you open up to the public, now we're gonna have a very ironic state flag.
But at least I'd be invested, even if we were Flaggy McFlagface. I would get that flag so quick. I'd be wearing that as a T-shirt. Like, I'd have pride.
Flaggy McFlagface. I like it.
Yeah, when that thing comes out, it'll be like it'll be this whole, like, it'll look like one of those old German quilts that people made with the 7,000 different designs on it. And each one of those little squares will be some kind of aspect of life in Minnesota. So it can include absolutely everything.
Yeah. They just take everybody's submission and make it one little patch of the actual flag.
Done. Print.
Right.
I can guarantee you one thing. There ain't going to be one white guy in that flag. I can promise you that. That's just a given. You guys have had your run. Now it's our turn. It's like, why don't we all just try to get along? That'd be good. Yeah. What do you think?
And maybe don't put a person, period.
Yeah. No. How about no people,
just
period?
Put Minnesota on a canvas.
And it works for me.
That's why when we were talking about it, just put the freaking North Star on there. Put some kind of star on it. Leave it at that.
Why can't we do loon? I love a good loon moment.
Or a loon. A loon is safe. No, who doesn't like loon? Who doesn't like loons?
Nobody doesn't like
Fish,
loons.
maybe.
Yeah, probably fish don't care much.
Yeah,
for
you got
them.
to consider the fish's feelings.
That's true.
very.
You know, that's
narrow-minded.
a hell of a point, boys.
That's a hell of a point, boys.
I got to give it to the Japanese. The Japanese nailed this. Okay, we got a flag. It's white and it's got a big red dot in the middle. Ooh.
And then put a song on it. Boom.
They redesigned it, and all they did was change like the shade of red.
Exactly.
I love it. I love it.
A red dot. There you go. That's our flag right there.
They're cooking over there.
That's all ours has to be, a white flag with a freaking loon in the middle of it. Boom. That's it.
Done.
It's over.
I feel strongly about the loon. And if you guys don't care, can we please go ahead with just pushing for the loon?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
There you
then
have
I'm
it.
guessing the Loons, the Minnesota United team, there'd be some money involved there because they'd be like,
Oh,
wait,
right.
you guys are taking our, even though they don't really own
No one owns a
loon
loon.
per se, but they are the Loons. That's where you start running into problems.
I do like loon bars. Hey, you guys been over to that Bade Makaska, that whole shopping area, dining area, and all
No,
that?
but we had the guy from the restaurant and deli that's there on the show the other day.
Mhm.
Super nice guy.
Look good.
Yeah.
Looks good. I got to get by there one of these days. I like that area anyway.
I can't, something Pimento Kitchen is what his
Yeah.
restaurant is.
Yep.
Yeah, super nice guy. And I like that they're selling a bunch of things at the store too, like from other Minnesota creators. So there's books and all kinds of stuff to buy that's made by Minnesotans, which is cool.
Yeah, pimento's amazing. That's Jamaican food, and it's
Oh, right. Yeah.
So they
yeah.
have a food truck, and they have another location, and it's so good.
Super nice guy.
When I think of Jamaican food, I think of Minnesota.
You are Jamaican me crazy.
I knew that was coming.
Did I tell you I have to leave early today?
So do I.
Is that a loon?
So, you do have to leave. My God, I just looked at that. You're absolutely right. You do have to leave.
Yeah, I'm gonna go work on my loon call.
Thank you.
I think you should, pal. All right, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye, guys. Have a good day.
Ladies and gentlemen, news brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh for your free 48-minute financial evaluation. Chris Egert, Channel 5 Eyewitness News. We shall take a break, be right back, and continue right after this. I'm so happy to welcome back our longtime friend, Sabre Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, to the show. I've known Steve, the owner, for many years. I completely trust Sabre to keep my house comfortable. Why? Sabre does everything the right way, and they always put the customer first. I love the team at Sabre because their service experts are experienced NATE certified technicians. They're not salespeople. Their pricing is completely upfront. They fix only what needs to be fixed and nothing more. Sabre is dedicated to giving customers what they need when they need it and at the fair price, keeping your family safe and comfortable without breaking the bank. Give Sabre Heating and Air Conditioning a try. I know they'll take care of you just like they've taken care of me and my family. Whether you need a new Bryant furnace or air conditioner replaced or just simply need a service call to get you going again, go to saberheating.com. That's SABRE heating.com. Sabre and Bryant, whatever it takes.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years, but I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw & Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
Oh, he rapped on the window. What do you think of that action? Very professional, AJ.
We have the door closed now because we're professionals here, and I didn't want to strain my lungs. So
Was that because did we close the door because, hey, I'm making coffee. You want some?
I closed the door.
You did not.
Yes, I did.
You did not. It was wide open.
I literally closed the door.
I
She's
walked
the one that
out.
closed the door.
Thank you.
For sure.
Not when I walked out there.
No, I
Well,
closed.
she initially.
I'm saying I closed the door because we have a guest coming in and I didn't want that awkward transition.
You're a disaster.
You're welcome. I think
I'm not
about you
coming
in
in
the show.
Not coming in
all
for
the
another
time.
40 minutes.
Yeah, that he just got pushed back.
I don't care. You made a mistake.
I've never done that.
That's a weird way to say thank you, Tom.
That's a weird way to say thank you.
Is this a weird way to say blow it out your ass? How about that, pal?
I feel very comfortable right now.
There's no question about it. It is Tom here for Flagship Ford in Baldwin, Wisconsin. I'm happy to say I purchased an EV Mustang from Flagship and have friends and coworkers who bought new vehicles and used ones from this family-run business, family-run dealership. It's just 20 minutes east of the metro in Baldwin, Wisconsin. Whether you want to compare their used car specials, claim Ford financing options, or simply book an oil change for tire rotation, they have you covered at Flagship Ford. New vehicles like the Ford Escape, the Edge, or F-150 pickups with special engine options. Flagship Ford can answer all your questions on your next vehicle. The month of October is Tire Month at Flagship Ford. Fit your tires for your specific vehicle, any model car, truck, or SUV, and get your tires before the snow flies, just $5 over cost. That's a purchase of 4 new tires with a $70 rebate gift card on top of the $5 over cost on most brands of tires. Flagship Ford, east of the metro in Baldwin, Wisconsin, and online at flagshipford.com. That is flagshipford.com. Why does he say in that song, and I listen to it every time I go, am I hearing that right? There's no reason to pretend. Why does he say it that way? He goes, to pretend.
It's like how I would say it talking to Go-Go.
Pretend.
Trouble with his R's.
That's that's Genesis, right?
Is that Genesis?
Or is it Phil Collins? Which one? Is it the band that did it, or is it him alone?
I don't know. He's going back and trying to find the spot where he says to pretend.
Well, a lot of musicians will slur words and stuff if they're trying to make it rhyme or sound a certain
till the end
way,
when we pretend.
Pretend.
Well,
I don't want to
pretend.
Pretend.
To pretend. Do. I'm rocking out, man. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I don't want to pretend. Pretend.
Oh my God. A tractor trailer in Canada collided with a pickup truck, towing a trailer full of fireworks, causing the fireworks to ignite. They went off for an hour.
I saw the video for this. It was fantastic.
Oh my God. Oh, you saw the video?
Yeah, there was a video.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So an hour. They just stopped. They fired for an hour.
Just on the side of the road, firing all over the place. Jeez.
What are the fireworks for anyway this time of the year?
It could be a fireworks store that just ordered a bunch.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a great question, Tom. I'm really glad you brought up this concept of if it's not 4th of July, what are you doing with fireworks right now?
Well, exactly. And you're not in Wisconsin either, because that was in Ohio or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Wisconsin. As soon as you get over the border, there are like 100,000 square foot fireworks buildings.
Yes.
Fireworks stores everywhere, bars everywhere. Like it's the wild, wild west in Wisconsin.
What was the name of that place that back in the hippie days of KQRS? That best club by a dam site. What was that one called? Do you remember that?
Best club. Are you talking about
Best club by a dam site? It was over in Wisconsin somewhere.
I have no idea.
But apparently,
was it the strip club?
Oh, listen to him. Going with the bare titty.
Oh, someone's got boobs on the brain.
What other club?
You know, there's more than just nipples out there in the world, Tevin.
How about you respect women sometime?
Yeah, Tevin. How does he take?
I don't know why.
You come from a mother who loves you, right?
What? Okay, so when he says, "Do you guys know that club?" What club would you assume that he's talking about?
I always think dance club.
What the hell was the name of it again? It almost popped into my head. The blah blah blah. Best club by a dam site, because it was right by a dam in Wisconsin, but I cannot remember the name of it. Help
me, my brain.
Email us.
Here we go. Best place by a dam site. It looks like
Amory.
That's just what it was called.
Amory, Wisconsin. Is that where it was? That just popped in my head.
It looks like it's been demolished.
Oh, the dam site or the club?
It just says Wisconsin, Polk County, best place by a dam site, and then it says it's gone.
Oh,
the building after severe flooding. Looks like it was in 2001.
So it was a restaurant nightclub, so it wasn't a titty bar. Thank you very much.
Way to go,
This
Kevin.
building was located adjacent to a dam, water impoundment on Highway 18. In 2001, severe flooding damaged the dam, and it was later removed. In 2004, the building was demolished.
So it is in Amory, Wisconsin. Does it say?
No, I've got Polk County.
Polk County, which is just It very well. Amory's in Polk County. So
it is.
sure,
Okay,
we'll
so it is.
yes.
Because they
next
used to say like next to Amory. They said that as part of the plug.
It is a very cute place, and it's in huge red. No wonder your brain was like,
"Yep,
I can remember something." It was literally in giant print. Best place by a damn sight.
Oh yeah, and it was in all the commercials they ran too.
And it has a little side that says liquor.
Oh, that's why I thought it was a strip club. Thank you very much. Great to be here. A foul reference. What do you think of that?
Jill wrote in that I think it was called Best Damn Bar. Brits the glue. Have a nice day. I just wanted to read it because
Brits what glue?
I'm the glue to the show.
Oh,
are you though?
I didn't say I'm a good glue. Like I'm like Elmer's. I'm sometimes stick, sometimes don't.
What is Elmer's? Sometimes it doesn't work.
Oh, Elmer's is the worst.
It's the
glue.
worst. And I would assume that it's the worst because they know little kids tend to eat glue, so you can't put in all the chemicals needed to make it stick all the time.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
Gorilla Glue is the best glue, and you should never give it to a child. But Elmer's is like, if you get it stuck on something, you're fine.
You know what's so great about my life, and it's true.
What?
I don't care if it's a pair of scissors, it's a hammer, it's a screwdriver, a pliers, if it's glue. Catherine, do not go near that stuff, Tom.
Don't give it to Tom.
She will not let me near any of that stuff.
Can you change a light bulb? Be honest.
I can change a light bulb, absolutely. What?
I feel like I'm more capable than you, and I'm barely capable.
I really suck at handyman stuff.
I was just going to say, I feel like you're the worst handyman ever.
Oh, yeah.
And for some reason, I don't feel like you can cook either. But I feel like you'd be a terrible cook.
What? There is one thing I can make, but I can't remember what the hell it is.
Can you make like a
sandwich?
A knuckle
Yeah, that's a knuckle
Can-
sandwich.
Why I oughta?
Can you make steak? Everyone can make steak.
No, not like Catherine. Catherine's a really good cook.
Justin's been transitioning to try to cook more, and he's doing a really great job. He's the handyman in the house. Like he can do all the stuff.
Not me.
I can't do any of it. But you know what? That's fine. I think knowing thyself, like there are some jobs that Justin takes on where I go, should you be doing the electricity in our wall?
Oh my
Should
gosh.
you?
Yeah, that's that. No.
Because like you knowing that you shouldn't is like such a you not going in there and pretending you could do it. I mean, Justin ends up doing fine, but I don't want to go into details of his tasks where I go, maybe you shouldn't have done that. Our pull-out garbage has never been the same since he started dinking with
It's off the rails.
I wish it was that. It's like it looks like a Frankenstein monster of what it used to be.
That's me.
Yeah.
But it shuts now. It like falls back and shuts.
When I was in college, I bought these rail lights on track lights on a rail, and it looked super cool. It was in this S shape, and I thought to myself, well, I'll just take the light fixture. I'll turn the lights off. Flip the breaker. Take the light fixture out of the ceiling. Probably just got to connect a wire or something and put it back up.
God.
So I'm standing on not even a ladder, just a chair from our living room and trying to undo these wires. And I touched what I now know is there's a live wire in there. Sparks everywhere. I fall off the chair onto my bed. Lights didn't work in our house like ever again.
Everyone hates you.
Oh, it was the worst. I was like, I'm pretty sure I almost died. Didn't tell the landlord because you got to hide that for sure and blame it on the next tenant. But yeah, it was a disaster.
It is nice having somebody handy at the same time. As long as you know your limitations, Tom, you're fine. Like, you know that you're going to hire out is more important than you being like, I better be a man and almost kill myself and start a fire.
No, you don't want me anywhere near that. And I don't know why, because my brothers are good at it. I just never was.
Listen, you can only focus on so many things. I feel like being one of the best radio hosts.
Oh, here we go.
No, but I
my
really
cash. I got to hand.
No, I don't.
Well, and like for the reason I don't think you can necessarily cook, and I thought the same way about Catherine. I was like, I don't imagine you guys cooking because you used to have the Hello Fresh commercial where you get stuff delivered. I was like, like you're in a position where you don't necessarily have to, or you're always going out to dinner because you have clients or something that you have to meet with.
It's time and energy.
Yeah.
Like you put your time and energy for 37 years?
Over at the Q?
Yeah.
37 and a half. Yeah.
And that like, now we have like a little bit of a chiller schedule. But
that's Thriller, not Chiller. Never
but
mind.
like it is. It's all about time and energy. Like
his schedule's Chiller.
Sleeping.
Like you
I
can't
love that song.
when you're building a show like that or building something, or for somebody who's building a business, like my stepdad was building a chiropractic center. Like you just can't do like 3 or 4 things. Some people try to.
No, it's true.
But like it's just time and energy. And that's where you were like, I can't put my time and energy into learning woodworking right now because I'm waking up at 4 a.m. and rolling into the queue and probably staying there till like 3 or 4 in the afternoon.
You know what my wife always says? Well, not so much anymore because the message has sunk in over the years. Like if something's broken, I'll go over to try to fix it. Kathy goes, no, I'll fix it. Don't worry about it. Why don't you do what you do best? Go in the corner and talk.
Talk to yourself. She has a pair of headphones.
Oh my god!
Just like tucked into a pillow, so it's like connected to nothing. And he just puts on his headphones and he's like, "Okay, she's approaching the toaster right now." And
we're rocking out, man.
Why don't you go into the corner and talk?
Why don't you go in the corner and talk?
The greatest insult.
Okay, there, turtle dove. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
Do you guys, are there products that you will not use because you can't stand the owners of the company?
No.
Because there's one coming up right here. I wouldn't buy their product. It was the last one available.
I have done better at compartmentalizing, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but like I don't want to know what, especially if there's a product I like, I don't want to know what the owners think.
Like
good
move. I'm a fan of Papa John's pizza, and even when they like accidentally tweeted the N-word on Twitter or something like that, I was like, I'm still buying.
Hold my hands. I love Papa John's pizza.
Wait a minute. Why did the N-word come up on their website?
It was
Papa John's got a mouth on him.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or no, maybe it wasn't
No,
their website. It was. I think he had a video released of some.
He was doing an interview. Okay,
Yeah.
his name was John Schnatter. I know way too much about all this.
Oh, here we go.
John Schnatter was doing an interview, and like it came out that he said the N-word, and he just didn't. He like doubled down with some aspects. It was bad. And then for a while, Shaq bought a bunch of Papa John's, so we were calling them Papa Shacks for a while.
He bought a bunch of pizza places?
Shaq owns a ton of Papa John's.
Oh, I didn't know
restaurants.
Yeah. But I don't know. I used to work at Papa John's when I was 16, and we used to get high in the freezer sometimes and answer phones. But
get high in the freezer,
which is probably standard for every pizza place across America.
Probably true.
It was chill, and then eat pizza at the end of the night, just like a lot of pizza. But I don't know what it is. I don't even know if it's good. It's just nostalgia. I love Papa John's pizza and the garlic dipping sauce.
Ooh. I don't even
talk dirty to
where
me.
are those? I've never seen one.
Oh, Papa John's?
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere.
They're in like every little, you'll see them like in a little
strip mall.
kiosk area or a strip mall,
Really?
like in the corner. Yeah, they don't need much room. They need a pizza oven to fit in there. That's about it.
Yeah,
But Papa John's, it's called. I don't think I've ever had
the
one.
pizza itself isn't high quality.
fine.
It's
No,
just
it's just
whatever. It's a
fine.
pizza. But the garlic knots too.
Oh,
It's just pizza
Really?
covered in garlic.
No,
Is there one around here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're everywhere.
Oh, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
It's
like
like a
Starbucks.
Domino's or like a Pizza Hut. Like they're everywhere. I love the little peppercini that they throw.
Oh,
on
I
there.
love that. And we'd have people call and be like, "You didn't put in my peppercini." I'd be like, "You want 45? I'm high. What do you want?" I will send you as many. And it was so
Exactly.
funny because we had so many like codes to like bring down the price of anything too. So it'd be like, your pizza's like, if you ordered a bunch, it was like $150. I was like, "Oh, I can help you knock that down."
You're the best kind of employee ever. You're
So high all the
High?
time.
what?
A high employee is
Yeah.
the best employee.
That's giving you hella discounts
Yeah.
because she knows all the codes that
That's
I
a
don't.
horrible employee
That's-
giving away your product.
Nobody
It's an
cared.
employee for the people.
I was the employee for the people. And I was
Listen to
always,
you.
I'd always try to like be very like get them to have like an actual conversation. Me and my friend Jamie both worked there, and we'd have contests to be like, see if you can get them derailed. Like you'd hear a dog in the background, I'd be like, "Hey, what kind of dog is that?" Like I'd try to derail him from the pizza.
What a world.
Yeah.
So you guys know we had Broadway, of course, in Broadway,
Yeah,
in North
which is
Minneapolis.
super good.
Tremendous. Red Savoy is fantastic.
Red Savoy is amazing. This is
Really,
all
really
better
good.
than Papa John's, but I
Yes.
love
Oh, really?
Papa John's. Yeah, like
yeah.
Papa
Really?
John's is fast casual pizza, and like you get the supreme, they like don't know how to cook it all the way through, so it kind of gets like weird soft. I still love it. I love Papa John's pizza. Mostly like it. There's like a chemical addiction to it. We get it like once a year, and I get so excited, and then I can't even tell you how much I just dip every part of my pizza in garlic butter. How gross is that?
Garlic butter.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's a butt on your garlic.
I'll take it.
No, it's not great pizza. But it's like you say, it's the nostalgia. If I was going to get good pizza, I'd go like Tasty Pizza in Columbia Heights or something like that.
That's good, Tasty.
Oh, it's so good.
Then we got Olives. That's a different kind of pizza. That's kind of like these square pizzas instead of the round ones.
Chicago style.
Yeah, kind of Chicago. Kind of Chicago.
That's like rectangle pizza does that as well.
Eden Prairie's got this Indian pizza that's so good.
I've been there, yeah.
Pizza Karma, and it's so good. They have coconut shrimp one.
Ooh.
It's
that
insane.
would be tough to beat.
It's pretty good.
That would be good. Well, so I mean, the top brands in town would be.
I mean, everybody loves Pizza Luce. That's pretty good.
Pizza Luce is good. Yeah, they don't deliver though, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, do they?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think they did.
I think Punch Pizza still makes the top.
Is that the little ones, the little 12-inch one?
Yeah, that with the fire.
Oh, that was good.
I like Punch Pizza, and then
Black Sheep. You ever had that?
Black Sheep is super good.
And Pizzeria Lola.
Yep.
That's over by you. I always put Edina.
Young Joni.
Oh, Young Joni
over
calm
St. Paul.
down. Okay,
Yeah,
like that's its next level.
Right, but I'm saying it's still
it's
not.
good. But that's like
your high end,
yeah,
like expensive gourmet type pizza.
You mean the one in St. Paul?
No, that's in Northeast.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Because when the kids lived over on Warwick over there was a Young Joni like 3 blocks from there.
Oh, I know that.
The food was really good too.
Yeah, because
really
Young
good.
Joni has the speakeasy where you go down their alley and there's an orange fluorescent tube on the side of the building, and if it's on, you do a little knock and a guy slides open a little eye hole. And
But that's to buy heroin.
Password.
well, I mean, you probably I don't know. I should say you can buy. I'm
Which
not
is
going
a
to say you can buy
great
heroin
business
there.
model.
Right.
Because it's not, you don't eat that much on heroin, so it's not a great business model to be a
No, look
restaurant.
who knows about heroin over here.
Thank you.
It's a dark time.
I'm Jonesing, man.
And I mean, honestly, heroin or garlic butter, either one, I need immediately in my
drip.
veins.
I need a drip of garlic butter straight into my arteries.
Same story.
Yes, please.
Pizza is good. Why don't we get a pizza?
I don't know why
Can we
we
get
don't.
a pizza sponsor that just drops some pizza off?
We
for us?
should get a pizza sponsor. You're absolutely
Yeah,
right.
Pat, where the heck are you on that?
Sell my soul for a pizza sponsor.
Gosh,
Might
just
be-
pay me in pizza.
You know what happened with Red Savoy? We ordered a couple of Red Savoys to the house.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine used my phone to order them.
Mm-hmm.
So he picks up my phone and he's dialing the number. And the guy answers the phone, "Hey, Tommy, how you doing?" You think I call there once in a while?
Yeah, didn't Red Savoy
want the
close
regular?
a bunch of
Exactly.
locations?
Oh,
or
did
something?
they? Well, I
Maybe
didn't
I'm
know
thinking
that.
of the wrong one. I thought there was a local pizza place that recently went out of business.
Oh, and I Red
within the
Savoy's
last,
done
like,
it. No.
Oh, okay. So Red Savoy,
What
that's
would
not
it
them.
be though that went out of business? We can track it down. I got to read this anyway. So why don't you guys track it down while I'm reading this? Okay.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Eagles are at XL Energy Center on their farewell tour on Saturday, November 18th. You can see them with me in my suite. Catherine will be there too, of course. To enter, just go to the Tom Barnard app or the website at tombernardshow.com. Listen for your name to be announced each day at 8:10, 9:10, and 10:10. Email us back by midnight at contest@tombernard.com, and you will win. Today's qualifier. Name for the See the Eagles with me in my suite is Aaron Pace of Lauderdale, Minnesota. That is Aaron Pace of Lauderdale, Minnesota. Email us by midnight tonight at contest@tombernardshow.com. That's contest@tombernardshow.com. Aaron Pace, give us a call. Be there. Aloha.
I did derail you, or we all did derail you. You were going to talk about a company who you would not buy from because you hate the owner, and I really want to know who that is.
To 2 owners.
Okay.
Baskin Robbins.
Oh.
Those 2 cows just will not shut up. I can't stand either one of those pigs.
Ben
Yeah.
and Jerry.
Are you talking about Ben and Jerry?
That's what you're thinking of.
Oh, you're right. It was Ben and Jerry.
We
It's
both
not
go.
Baskin
I was like,
Robbins.
wait a minute. Baskin Robbins is one
You're
person.
right.
No, it's Baskin and Robin.
It's 2
Wait.
Baskin. Oh, you're right. It's
Wait,
Ben and
hold on.
Jerry's I'm talking about.
Is the person that owns Baskin? Is their name Baskin Robin?
Oh, no, I have no
I think
idea.
it's 2
Oh,
people.
okay, all right.
No, Baskin Robbins is good, actually.
I thought it was.
Good. Yeah, Ben and Jerry's.
That's not a real name, is it?
I would never think of buying Ben and Jerry's pizza. I mean, I'm losing it today.
You're fine. But I'm on it is. It's two people. It's Burt Baskin and Irv Robbins.
Of course it is. Baskin Dash
I
Robbins.
thought it was his name.
His name was Baskin.
You did not.
Yes.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Why would I not?
Or maybe it was Carol Baskin from
Yeah.
Tiger King.
Yeah. So
Oh, Carol Baskin,
AJ
yeah.
very concerned that it was a real
Well, I thought Baskin Robbins was Ben and Jerry. So what does that tell you?
Yeah, that's
And I was going to
fine.
go along with it.
Wait,
'cause I
so
was like,
Tom,
that
which
makes
one are
sense.
you mad at then?
Ben and Jerry's.
Ben and
He
Jerry.
hates
Ben and Jerry.
Okay.
Those two gets the political ass kissing that those two do drives me insane.
Yeah. Like if I brought in Ben
ice
and
cream?
Jerry's, you wouldn't eat any.
Hell no, those cows.
Oh, it's so good.
I don't have strong convictions like that.
No.
Like there's a Ben and Jerry's over by Wakame on like the north side of Bade-Makaska.
Yep.
And we've stopped there many times because why not? But I like forget because it's convenient to forget.
Well, I mean, again, it's not that big a deal. It's just they're such political ass kissers. I hate that. And I don't care who you're ass kissing, far left or far right.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it.
Same.
Just like, so sorry to Baskin Robbins. I still do like your ice cream. It's really good. It's those pricks, Ben and Jerry.
Sorry, Mr. Baskin Robbins.
And let me just say this about Ben and Jerry. If I were Bobby Knight, I'd have called you a couple of fat effers.
Yeah, you're welcome.
But I
We were
didn't.
pretty nice. Also, you should be fat if you're selling ice cream. If you're not fat,
'cause
get
you
on top of
eat
that.
your own ice cream.
I don't trust you.
Yeah,
don't
you never
tell
trust a
Natalie.
skinny chef. Oh, ice cream, no matter what time of year,
It doesn't matter.
let's go.
Our
Send it.
day.
Or
Okay,
day.
what's your favorite? Because I do have a favorite.
Ooh.
Haven't had it in a long
Flavor or
time.
brand?
Flavor.
Okay. I would probably go like with a caramely pecan kind of vibe or
Oh.
strawberry. Those are my two.
Okay, strawberry. What do you got?
I mean, cookies and cream is always a staple. Otherwise, I know you don't like them, but Ben and Jerry's makes a cinnamon bun
Oh,
ice
so
cream.
typical.
Ooh.
It is fantastic.
You have to kiss somebody's ass to eat it.
I will kiss their cinnamon buns for those cinnamon bun ice cream.
Okay.
It is
Well, good.
delicious.
Glad to hear it. Glad to hear you're kissing those cinnamon buns. AJ, what do you got?
Probably like a chocolate peanut butter, but also when they
That's
have like a
good.
vanilla that has like the little caramel, like it's
Oh, yeah.
like
Mhm.
little pockets almost. That makes sense. You get a
Oh,
small
that's
of that.
good. Oh,
You mean the chocolate covered little caramel deals?
Yeah.
Like moose tracks.
Oh.
Like those are.
Oh,
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
I messed up.
what did you mess up?
Mine is pistachio from Grand Ole Creamery. I love
What is wrong with
pistachio.
You don't like pistachio?
It's just like
Pistachio is so good. It
That
literally
was a
was
good
like
throw up sound you
Thank
just
you.
that
did,
was
by the way.
actually talented, and the bend
really
over was
Yeah,
very impressive.
sorry, it was
That
over
is like my
exaggerated.
all-time favorite pistachio. A good pistachio that actually is like a lot of pistachio.
Do you
taste.
like pistachios anyway outside of ice
Love.
cream? So do I.
Yeah.
See, I
Catherine
don't
brought
like
home a
pistachios.
bag yesterday. I'm
Yeah.
not kidding you. It's about a 55-pound bag of pistachios.
Where you at?
Like, Jesus.
Where you at with it though? Like
I
how many
haven't had
pounds
any.
of-
She ate
Whoa!
them. She's eating them all.
I love that.
She loves pistachios.
Me too.
I'm just not a pistachio guy.
Like
It
it's
happens.
it tastes like almond, but a little different. But
It
like
throws me off that they're like green.
I love green though.
I
Tom?
love green.
I do. I love green. What is your ice cream?
Rocky Road.
Nice.
I love Rocky Road ice cream.
That's good.
Underrated.
It's
When you
got
have
to
a
be good though,
Rocky
because
Road.
bad Rocky Road is really bad.
True.
But the good Rocky Road's phenomenal.
The good Rocky Road that's like so thick that like it starts melting
Yes.
immediately because it's got so many
Yeah.
things in it.
Yep.
Like
That's it.
It's
Um,
only 2% ice cream. The rest of it's just other stuff.
Sebastian Joe's has
I like that too.
a one that I think you would love. It's called the flavor formerly known as Nicollet Pothole. It used to be Nicollet Pothole. They took it away and everyone got mad. And so now they have to bring it back and it's formerly known as Nicollet Pothole. It's got so much stuff in it that they immediately starts melting when they put it on. It's like a Rocky Road to the extreme. I think you would love it.
There was a problem. I used to live on the corner of Lincoln and Emerson in
Mhm.
the neighborhood right there by the Sebastian Joe's
Yeah.
on Franklin Avenue.
Yeah.
I might have put on a pound or two when I lived there because
Yeah.
it was too
Oh,
close
yeah.
to
You
the ice
go,
cream.
I'm not burning enough calories walking over here every day that I should be eating as much ice cream.
That's true.
When it's so close, yeah. And you're like, I'm gonna walk, so I'll get 2 scoops. And you're like, nope, that was 48 calories you burned, and you're about to eat 3,000.
Yep.
God, it was one that was a great neighborhood to live in. But that's what neighborhood is that? It's kind of like it's got a name for it, but I can
I'm
never
sure.
remember it.
I'm sure it has some cute name. They all do.
It's a pretty high tone area over there.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing. I think they built that neighborhood for all the Richie Rich and all that stuff back in the day when they were building the city.
They saw you and they said, let's elevate this and get him out of here.
Okay, very
They
quickly.
gentrified you out.
We'll throw through this. This house was huge. It was a big house. John Hines, my brother Terry, and I rented the house together, the three of us. Within 2 months, they had both moved out to move in with a woman.
Dang.
So guess who got stuck with the entire rent payment? That'd be Uncle Tommy.
You're like good luck Chuck.
Yeah, honest to God.
You're like, if you hang and live with you, you'll be married within a year.
But also, like,
Yeah.
they didn't see this forthcoming.
No,
3
exactly.
months. Like, you guys didn't know that this was a possibility. Come on,
They both lasted like 2 months. Hines, you pain in the ass.
yucks.
He's all over TV now, doing TV commercials for like Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is nice.
Must be nice, that Blue Cross Blue Shield's money.
I've known John Hines since we were both at 1500 KSTP 52 years ago.
Damn.
Isn't that amazing?
I haven't known anyone that long
That's because you're not 52.
yet.
It might have something to do with it, is what I'm thinking. Okay, so Baskin Robbins, not Ben and Jerry's, but Baskin Robbins.
No, reverse.
What?
Ben and Jerry's is the one you don't like.
No, I'm going to read the story.
Oh, it's about Baskin
Why
Robbins.
don't you
Okay.
pay attention,
Sorry,
sister?
sorry. I just
You
want to
ever,
make
you ever
sure.
heard of flow, anything like that? You know?
Every time you say flow, I think of my period.
Well, thank you
I
so
thought
much.
you were going to say Progressive Insurance.
Okay, now you pop this up in my head again.
You're welcome.
Because apparently our next door neighbor, they had like you first get your period at what, 11?
Yeah, it depends. I got mine a little late, but yeah.
Yeah, it does happen. Next door neighbor comes on. He's, hey, Tommy, had kind of a rough morning. I said, what's the problem? Yeah, Christ, you go in there. My daughter's all upset about something. I said, what's the bad? She points to the bed, and there's the Japanese flag.
Oh, no.
Big red spot in the middle of the sheet.
It is like you are not mentally ready when you get your period to handle that
I
kind of
bet.
situation
I
because
bet.
you're so embarrassed about everything and you'll just randomly bleed in the middle. And it's not like every month, you know how like as you get older, it gets like a little bit more predictable. But just imagine being 11 years old, having to come out with a bloody sheet. Like it's not.
Yeah, that'd be
It's a
tough for
lot
11-year-old.
for an 11-year-old.
It
Like
is.
it's so be
And I'm
nice to young women.
Yeah, and I'm sure now it's different because parents, I feel like, are a little bit more progressive. But back in the day, it probably wasn't addressed until the day it happened.
It's never, never. It was never
It
brought
wasn't
up
like, hey,
before.
you're around that age where this might happen. It
Yeah.
was just, oh yeah, by the way, we forgot to tell you.
Also,
should get
you
a
will
straight
be
Japanese.
sticking this in your vagina, and you're like, what the what?
What?
I don't want to be a woman. I want to be a little girl.
We got to move on here in a second, but I had two older sisters, Bobby, 7 years older than me, and Vicky, 2 years older than me. And Vicky and I, when we were little kids, she was probably, I don't know, we were taking a bath together because we were little kids, but she must have been, I don't know, 10 or 11, something like that. Not a big deal. We're just having a good time.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it happened. A window broke or something, but we did not know this, but there was a piece of glass in the tub. When you fill it up, you couldn't see it because it's clear, right? And we're screwing around there. And all of a sudden, Vicky cuts her butt on that piece of glass because she didn't know it was there.
It's so good.
And so I'm in there in my underwear because
Yeah.
that's my taking a bath with my sister underwear swimsuit.
That's crazy in itself.
So I go, Bobby, you come and help us. There's something wrong. And of course, the tub's starting to fill up with blood.
Yeah, that
right?
water and blood, it just spreads out immediately.
And Bobby walks in and looks at Vicky and goes, there comes a time in every
Oh,
girl's life.
No!
It was phenomenal. So she had her first period.
I'd rather be stabbed in the butt with glass than have that conversation. So I understand.
I thought it was terrific.
That's amazing.
I really, God, we got to take a break here, don't we? We're all over the joint, ladies and gentlemen. We got that break here, don't we?
Yeah, we're just powering through. We're having a fun show.
I'm having a goddamn ball just ridiculing everyone. It's fantastic. We'll be right back.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live at tombernardshow.com or on the Tom Barnard Show app.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years, but I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation, 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did, and tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story. And please let them know that Tom sent you.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Never got to that Baskin-Robbins story so quickly. If you're someone who was intrigued by DiGiorno's Thanksgiving pizza, do you guys know anything about that?
I do not.
Yes, I saw that yesterday.
And?
I'm intrigued.
It looks iffy.
Oh, it looks iffy.
It looks iffy.
Well, that's not good news. Looking iffy.
Yeah.
If you were intrigued by the Thanksgiving pizza, this might be the perfect treat to finish it off. And no, it isn't a pumpkin pie breadstick. Baskin-Robbins has just announced its new flavor of the month. It's called Turkey Day Fixins. It combines flavors of sweet potato and autumn spice and mixes in sweet chunks of honey cornbread and tart swirls of cranberry sauce. Ish. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, no.
Not the route I would have went with making that.
No. It's available all month long at Baskin-Robbins locations nationwide. One TikToker says it's pretty decent. That's not exactly a raging compliment.
No, if you can make ice
Pretty
cream
decent.
not amazing, then you're doing it wrong.
I agree.
Like, what are you doing? Stop.
They are also taking pre-orders for their turkey cake, which thankfully does not include actual turkey. It just looks like a bird that's fresh out of the oven. It can be filled with any ice cream with legs made from sugar cones. It's also lathered with caramel praline glaze, which gives it a, quote, juicy sheen.
I hate the word juicy.
Why?
One of my tennis and tennis instructors will say, you got to go for that juicy shot. And
oh, yeah, I hate that too. You're right.
You a fan of the word moist?
I actually don't mind. When you need to use the word moist, there's no other word to use. Like, will you semi-wet this cloth for me? Like,
yeah, semi-wet. That's not good.
You know what I mean? Like, I know that people are like really strong about hating moist. It is the only word for the job sometimes. Like, this towel is moist. It just is.
No, it is. You're right.
Did you guys see the, I know you said no, but do you want to find out what's on the toppings of that DiGiorno Thanksgiving pizza?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let me know if you think this sounds good. It's a DiGiorno. So you're gonna have to go to like Target or somewhere to like get this, and you're gonna cook it yourself. But it's turkey, gravy sauce, sweet potatoes, green beans, cranberries, mozzarella, cheddar, and some other types of like the crispy onion toppings.
Yep.
And that's all piled on top of a thick Detroit style crust.
Sounds terrible.
No.
You're gonna bake that at home and eat that and have to feel terrible about yourself.
Yeah.
And it's frozen.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
frozen.
Sounds terrible.
I feel like you can leave the cranberries off. We should have some sort of stuffing on top of it.
You want to add more
necessary.
to this layers of frozen food. I'm just going to melt together in the oven.
I mean, it doesn't sound terrible. What it doesn't make me want to go buy one of these pizzas, but it does make me want to get like a pizza crust and just make my own version of this after Thanksgiving.
In general, like these ingredients together would be amazing when you make it and you make your plate and you put all these things together. But a frozen thing, think about it, defrosting all at the same time and just kind of mushing together in a Detroit style crust. That's insanity.
This feels like you use your leftovers from Thanksgiving and do this the day after and experiment, because then it's all somewhat fresh. But the point of it being all frozen and like reheating up together to me just sounds gross.
That's what Emil wrote in, that we make Thanksgiving pizza every year. You use pie crust for the crust, turkey gravy for the sauce. Instead of sausage, you cover it with all the things, cranberries, turkeys, corn, and a little bit of mozzarella. So like exactly what you're saying is a tradition in their house, which I love.
But that's not really a pizza, but because that sounds good, actually.
Yeah, kind of like a casserole, right? Like a Thanksgiving casserole vibe.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Exactly. Are you fired up to get after it?
I'm always fired up to get after it.
It is. It's that time of the year we eat a lot of holiday dinners. It's wonderful.
Do you guys have like traditional Thanksgiving food on Thanksgiving?
Yep.
No.
You know, what do you guys do?
It's like turkey and mashed potatoes and gravy.
That's
and
traditional.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, it's just everybody has turkey. It's not just our tradition.
No,
like traditional, like you don't, because some people be like, we always eat Chinese
spaghetti
food
or like,
yeah, we don't do the normal turkey. And
can they run the end of that show again where they pissed away the Christmas dinner, so they had to go to a Chinese restaurant?
A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
Christmas Story.
It's so good.
Where they're singing fa ra 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 ra. Can they even do that anymore?
I don't know, but that show is
hilarious.
It's Christmas Story is so good.
Remember, Dad gets his gift. He opens it. He goes, "Ooh, fragile."
Yeah.
Must be Italian.
Must be Italian. Fragile. God, that's a great movie. I love that movie actually. With Darren McGavin.
You'll shoot your eye out.
Unpopular opinion. Terrible movie.
You don't like that movie?
The decoder ring? How exciting that was when he got the decoder ring?
It doesn't age well.
Have you guys seen Slapshot?
No.
Yes. With Paul Newman?
Yes.
Yep.
The mom in A Christmas Story is Anne Rahand's wife, the goalie that he antagonized. I didn't know that. I watched that recently and somebody pointed that out. And so a little connection there.
How can you not like A Christmas Story? What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, you really need to grow up.
Well, you only pay attention to Kwanzaa. Is that the plan?
Oh, you're on your phone now?
We're trying to talk to you.
Our guest is lost in the building somewhere.
Tell you what,
they always are.
You guys lock it down. I'll go find him.
Just start yelling, Adrian!
Tevin, what floor is he on?
Sorry.
Is he on the second, or is he on the third floor?
How hard is it to find 335?
I don't know. Mary Mac got lost the other day.
335.
Tevin, what floor
is he on the third floor? AJ would like to know.
Yeah, he says he's standing next to 336.
I'll be back in a few minutes, everybody. You guys hold it down.
AJ, you go get
It's
Adrian.
335.
I don't know about how he's lost.
Did you do this?
You guys, now that AJ's gone, I do want to talk. Does his
Let's
initials?
get rid of him.
What are his initials standing for again? I forget. Is it Adrian?
Absolute jackass.
Have you not gotten an email from him? It says Adrian.
Okay, just checking.
No, it's absolute jackass, I thought.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what we call him.
If anyone asks, we never had this talk.
When he gets back, that's the first thing I'm saying.
No.
Brittany didn't know what your name was, AJ.
You know what? I got to tell you something. When I ran down the hall, I was thinking about this. That I really love how the show has gotten to a point now where we just talk and it sounds like we're talking. We're not putting on a radio show.
I was just talking to Justin about this.
I hated it when I first started the show, and it sounded such a radio show. So it's a conversation now. We're schmoozing.
Justin was at Top Golf, or no, I'm sorry, not Top Golf. Oh, hey, Adrian.
There.
Justin was at Golf Zone and they did like a news segment. And he was like, yeah, news people sure are on when they're on. And I go, yeah, that's what's nice about being on the radio is like, I don't have to be, I show up and we turn the mic on and it's the same.
Yeah, well, I was mad that this wasn't more of a traditional radio show because I practiced my Good Morning Minnesota.
How you doing this morning?
One time you were gone in the bathroom, Tom, and Tevin took over the show and he was like, what are you guys? I was like, why are you doing that voice?
Because that's right. Like, because there was the 3 days that you were gone and you're like, oh, Tevin, you can fill in. Oh, I was ready to come in here and now we're going to turn it over to Brittany for the weather. What's going on over there, Brittany?
It was a lot.
Yeah.
You ever heard of one of my first years on the radio? You ever heard a recording of that?
It's a lot.
It is a lot to get through. There's no question about it. What are you guys doing?
Turning the light on.
I'm here.
It's a complete. Adrian, this is your fault. I'm just blaming it all on you.
Adrian, I love your sweatshirt.
No Thank you. Thank you.
I love that team. They let me down again this year. But I will tell you something, Adrian. That was the most boring World Series I've ever watched.
Yeah, I'll tell you something. I am not even a baseball fan.
Not you just like the shirt?
I
like the tie-dye. It's cute.
I did a project with the Twins last year, and they gave me some things. So
okay, let me see if you're a liar or not. I'm going to check one thing.
Hit me.
Do you like beer?
No, actually.
You're wearing a Coors hat for Christ's.
But that's also really cute. And I like how it's got the gem thing on it.
Everything I do is strategic for a whole different reason. I saw this at Target. I'm like, oh, okay.
That was at Target?
Exactly.
With the gem on it?
No. This is my little.
Okay.
This is my little blurb I'll put on there.
That's super cute.
Ladies and gentlemen, Adrian Wilson in with us in the studio. Adrian Wilson is creative director, filmmaker, and producer from South Minneapolis. Where from South Minneapolis?
Longfellow.
Oh, Longfellow.
Longfellow.
Did you go to South?
No, I'm from Orlando. So
you're from Orlando.
Yeah, I've been in Minnesota for about 7 years now.
I always ask people that because Barnard Field is Leo Barnard, I think was the name of the field at South High School. Mm-hmm. No relation to me though, because he had money. That's all I'm saying. As a filmmaker, Adrian has worked with numerous companies and organizations, including Change Philanthropy, Fashion Week MN, Rosedale Center, Grays, Provisions and Libations, Twin Cities Boys and Girls Clubs, EA Sports, and many, many more. There's a Twin Cities toy drive going on.
There is.
I want to hear all about it. I love these things.
There is. I love that bio. I'm like, wait, where did it get this?
Look at that. You sound like a good guy in that bio.
This sounds familiar. The Twin Cities Toy Drive. But first of all, thank y'all very much for having me on the pod.
It's a pleasure.
I've always wanted to be on a podcast.
Really?
And no one has ever had me on one, except for one. Shout out to Norman, but it's like years. I'm like, why am I not on somebody's podcast?
Why aren't you?
I think I'm cool.
Well, we'll be the judges.
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
But the Twin Cities Toy Drive, it started in 2021, and the main reason why I started it is because in 2020 I was filming all the George Floyd stuff like for 8 months straight. And I saw how much it just ruined my community, right? Because I used to live on 34th in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Before I lived in Longfellow.
Yep.
So, after seeing that and, normally during the winter times, like my work kind of slows down. So I'm like, you know what? I need to just do something that, to keep me busy. But if I'm going to do something, I want to do it for my people and my community and my neighborhood. So I started the Twin Cities Toy Drive and, the idea pretty much stemmed just how can I make it different from Toys for Tots and what everybody else is doing? Because one thing that I noticed in 2020 and 2021 and to this day is a lot of companies say they represent BIPOC communities, but they don't, right? And they put our Black faces on their commercials, but when it comes to really doing something, they never do anything. So being that commercial filmmaker that I am, I just went to every single company that I filmed for and said, hey, you said that you support Black people.
Yeah.
Right. You hire me. So I have an idea and I want to put a box in your location and I want you to promote that box. And I'm going to have the box be designed by an actual local artist here in Minneapolis or St. Paul, Twin Cities. Just because, I wanted it to be different than Toys for Tots. I think Toys for Tots box is pretty bland.
Yeah, I love that. Like any opportunity to involve the community and think about how exciting that is for an artist if they're not, have a lot of exposure. here's their chance, and they can go take pictures of it. And people, that you've added an element that I don't think that could have been looked over easily.
Yeah, and I added an element because I'm an artist.
Yeah.
Right. And I figured, if I have Gray's and the W Hotel and all these different places, like they can promote an artist, what I mean, and put your money where your mouth is and put your brand where your mouth is. So that's how it started off in 2021. And we raised about like 2,200 toys, I think, in like 2 weeks. It was supposed to be for a month, but it's bootstrap, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, it was supposed to start in November, but it started December 9th or something like that. And I just hustled and we raised that and we donated them to 4 different BIPOC communities. We have our organizations, like last year we donated to Sonic Foundation. We did Northside Achievement Zone, Family Support and Families, and Elliott Park neighborhood too. So we're in our 3rd year of this thing, and it's beautiful.
That's amazing. And then does the designer know where their place is going to go in advance? So like, do they incorporate the building or do they not know and then you spread them out?
Sometimes, so there's some companies that will say, hey, we would like for our box to look like such.
Yeah.
And, I will communicate that with the artist, but that's not really like the main goal. Like I want to make sure the artist has freedom.
Totally.
Right. Like, hey, I'm not going to just tailor you down, because as an artist, I hate that. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, just make a box. And I tell folks, you don't even have to make it look like a Christmas box.
Totally.
Just do whatever your medium is and put Twin Cities Toy Drive on it, and then we'll promote that. So, I give them full freedom just so they can have fun with it.
This is very, very special to me, and I'll tell you why. Because I grew up in North Minneapolis, over on Plymouth Avenue, very, very poor family. My father was institutionalized. My mother worked like 18 hours a day, wasn't around. I can tell you with 100% certainty, I got most of our toys back in those days came from the police department or the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the people that brought the toys to children. We didn't have any money left. I mean, my mother worked and tried to pay the bills, couldn't even get those all paid. So I can tell you exactly what it feels like to get those toys, because I was a little boy getting those toys. I cannot tell you how much this means to those kids, man.
Oh.
Because when they're left out and you're sitting there and everybody else, hey, look what I got. And you're like, yeah, great. Because you got nothing. And it was never like that. My mother always made sure we were taken care of. But if it weren't for the Police Federation and the Fire Federation, we wouldn't have got. I don't think there was a Toys for Tots back when I was a little boy. Maybe there was, but I don't know about our neighborhood. But what you're doing, I hope you do know how important it is to children, what you're doing, because it's huge.
I think it's starting to sink in, the 3rd year in, to be honest with you, because, the first year, it was this is just something that I just wanted to do. Right. I didn't know it was this was only supposed to be for like the South Side and the George Floyd Square area, because that's where I lived. Right. So I didn't expect it to blow up like that quick and that fast. But, when I created it, I wanted to make sure that it's something that is easy for everybody. Right. So like what the kids obviously benefit from this, but what is the business why would the business want to be a part of this? Like, I'm not asking you for anything. And, these businesses, they have to do this, right? They have to give money at the end of the year. They have to do some philanthropy work. That's just a part of their tax write-offs or whatever the case may be. So I even made it easy for them. Like, I'm bringing a product to you. I am bringing this to you. So you don't have to go out and do anything else. I'm bringing this. Plus, it's easy for you because now I'm bringing customers here to your establishment, because at the end of the day, people are going to come to you and see this, right? So it's a win-win for everybody. And then for the artists, like, you get your name blasted everywhere, right? So if I, like, for instance, Flan, like, I'm doing podcasts and stuff like that, like, I get to promote these people, and everybody wins, and then we donate. So I think this year I'm fully understanding, like, what is it that I've been doing for the past 2 years, because I think we raised so far like 7,000 toys within the past 2 years, and like, I don't know, $6,000-$7,000 or whatever. But the fact that a lot of big companies now are coming to me and saying, hey, I heard about your toy drive, I want to be a part of it.
Glad to hear.
Right, because last year I think Porsche and Ferrari joined. And now, like, my email, the Toy Drive email is going crazy. Nordstrom from Mall of America joined. We got emails from like Allianz Technology, and
very cool.
I'm like, holy crap, what is
that? Like, now they want me,
right,
like, you're.
But that's the goal. That's the goal. The goal is to have these big companies like Target, and different places to say, hey, you know, we see what you're doing and we say that we are part of the communities and we would like to be a part of this, or we would like to help in some sort of way. Because, you know, like I'll say Target, for example, 90% of the toys are bought from Target. And if, you know, 3,000 toys last year, $15 a toy, that's like $60,000 right there.
It's a lot. Adrian, what do you notice is the age of kid that usually isn't represented well in the presents? Like if I was looking to buy a present, would it be like 15-year-old boy? Like what is the demographic that usually gets kind of left out?
Well, I mean, as you get older, you know, I haven't really been seeing anything geared towards teenagers at all.
Okay.
I don't really have any parameters for the toy drive. I just tell people, hey, just donate. And also, it's not just toys only. Like, you know, if someone wants to donate a non-perishable, you know, canned foods or diapers and stuff like that, and sometimes I take some of that money too, and go buy like diapers and you know, kind of toiletries, because not everybody wants toys either.
Yeah,
right?
like maybe even like, because like I always think about the older kids, because I have a 1-year-old and it is people buy toys all the time for her, and you know, it's fun. They're the fun looking toys. Yeah. But I always think about like if you were a teenager in the situation, because I'm sure as you got older, it's like maybe you buy like sweatshirts or like, you know, or a Shields or a gift card or like a Target gift card too.
Agreed. That is something that we always encourage people to do as well too. So like, I know, you know, as you said, when it comes to Christmas time, the people that are thought of are the folks that I can buy a $10, $15 toy for.
Yeah.
And when they think of teenagers, they'll probably be like, oh, I got to buy this guy a tablet or something.
Yeah.
So,
I can't afford it.
I think
find a PlayStation 5
the
toy drive.
Just give them my phone.
You know, so the first year, someone donated one of the Oculus.
Wow.
That's when it first came out. And I'm like, what am I gonna do with this thing? Like who can I give this to? And it's when like the metaverse was like now popping off. I'm like, do I give a child like something to not be a part of the real world now?
That's an actual,
you know
like,
what I mean? And that's how I thought about it. Like, hey, I'm gonna go outside and play type of guy. And now I'm giving some kid like, you know, boom. And as soon as I opened it, my wife looked at me. She's like, "You're donating that, right?" I'm like, "Yes."
Yes, I will not be keeping the Oculus.
I just have to make sure it works.
I just need to
let me field test it.
Yeah.
Before we go giving these kids stuff to fry their brains. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's probably the coolest, like biggest thing for a teenager or somebody like that I've seen come in. But mostly it's just toys. But you know what, I will give, you know, the Twin Cities folks that's donated some shout outs, because it's some very diverse toys that comes in.
That's awesome.
You know, I think because it is geared towards BIPOC kids, we see a lot of like black Barbies and like black like influenced toys and stuff like that too. So like books and all this different. So I'm really proud of the people that's been donating these past 2 years, because they understand the assignment.
Yeah. How do you find the families in need? Do they reach out to you, or do you have a network of people that figure out who to give the gifts to?
I let the organizations take care of that. So that's why I give it to them, and then they can figure it out. Because you know, I'll be honest with y'all, like after this, when the toy drive season is over, I'm burnt.
Yeah, I bet.
Because like I know media runs, and then like most of the times I'm picking up the toys. I have to go build these relationships with all of the companies too, and shaking hands and smiling, and then toys and toys and toys and toys. I think I'm gonna be honest, by December 25th, like I don't even want to see a toy.
If anything needs a battery, get it out of here.
Ask me for no. And sometimes I will see like leftover toys in my car, and I'm like,
I missed one Lego.
And to this day, I will still find like random stuff in my car. So I created it where it's like, you know what, I'll do the legwork.
Mm-hmm.
You find your people, and you know, I think last year we had like 28 boxes.
Wow.
That we like, okay, you get it's like Oprah, you get a few boxes, you get some boxes, you get some boxes, and I wipe my hand clean and let them take it from there.
And then with the boxes that the artists make, what do you do with those afterwards? Do you auction them off?
Oh, man, I gotta get rid of them. It hurts too. There's nothing for me to do with them. They'll look at me like
I'm thinking about what can we do with it, because like
it's like last year we had 28 companies. It's 28 boxes. Where am I going to put 28 boxes? You know what I mean?
There's gotta be
and how
something.
fair would it be
Let
if
me
I
think on this.
get rid of some boxes and keep some? You know what I mean? Now the artist is like, well, why did my box?
I'm sure if you did like some sort of silent auction type of thing, somebody would buy it and donate
If
money
people
to
are down,
charity.
I'm open, man. This is the third year. We're still figuring this thing out. Like if people want to buy, I want the Ferrari box. Go ahead. Give me 6 toys for the box.
I'm writing box on a piece of paper. We're gonna think of something.
And trust me, every year I have to look at these boxes and be like, damn, I gotta throw this away. This is a really good box, but it served its purpose. It is disposable, right? Yeah. So it's disposable art, which sounds terrible.
We do have to take a very quick break. You have done about 10 minutes?
I'm hanging. I'm just gonna grab some coffee.
All right, we'll be right back in just a couple minutes more. Talking toys right after this.
This is fun.
Oh,
he's not listening to me.
Oh, it's the recording.
AJ, we got to go to break, pal.
Let's do it. Sorry, Gelfan was talking.
He's a disaster.
Hey, we'll be right back.
You got some coffee?
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
This is Bob Sansevier, and I want to tell you about Dave Bialke from Bialke Law. Dave represented my wife, Mary, when she had a significant workplace injury. She was very happy with the job Dave did. If you have a work-related injury and have Dave represent you, I'm betting you'll be happy too. Dave is a down-to-earth guy. He grew up in northern Minnesota, rides a Harley, and worked various jobs doing concrete, electrical, plumbing, roofing, and carpentry work. Dave works for people with work-related injuries. If you work construction, or anywhere for that matter, and you're hurt or even just hurting, you should talk to Dave. Let's face it, our bodies wear out. If your body is worn out from work, if your knees or back or shoulders hurt from things you do at work, do what Mary did. Call Dave and talk to him about it at Bialke Law to set up a free initial consultation. The number to call is 763-571-2410. That's 763-571-2410. Or visit bialkelaw.com. That's BIALKE law.com.
Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story, and please let them know that Tom sent you. Why should your business bank with North American Banking Company? Here's Landon and Gavin Miller of D&B Plating.
I've always been impressed with their speed of answers to our questions, and that has allowed us to expand and capitalize on opportunities in the market.
North American Banking Company has never made us feel like a number. They've always treated us as a partner.
For more information about North American Banking Company, go to nabankco.com or stop by any one of their Twin Cities locations. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. I have to make I have to ask a question, kind of re-referencing something. I've heard you talk about many different areas, many different things. How many times have you asked for a Ferrari for Christmas?
Last year was my first time.
Last year, okay.
You know, it's wild. When I think when Ferrari and Porsche, like they decided to be a part of it,
yes,
somebody threw out an idea. It wasn't me. That like, you know, how cool would it be if they give you rent you a red Ferrari and you drive around like Black Santa?
Yeah,
Black
like
Santa. And I'm like, man, as cool as that sounds, bro, there's no way that would look good at all.
No.
Like, hey guys, donate.
Right.
In a Ferrari. Yeah. That's a good point.
The optics of that, not great.
Trust me, I'm like, oh, that would be good. And then the thought just went right away. It's like, no.
I think it would send the wrong message.
It would. Like, donate your money. Yeah, buy Pac.
Yeah, the guy in the Ferrari is asking for us to donate.
Yeah.
You donate your.
Hey, the billionaires do it.
They do. Adrian, did you a lot of time around the tree with the family when you were a kid?
No. Actually, you know, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm Guyanese. I'm from South America. So like We celebrate Christmas completely different. We celebrate Christmas like Americans celebrate Thanksgiving, right? There isn't really any gift giving. It's more of like the cleanup, and the family's here, the food. My mom is cooking for days, and everybody's here. So like the gift giving and the Christmas tree and Santa Claus, that's like an American culture, right? And or European as well, too.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I moved here, I think I moved to this country in 2005. So I was 16. So I didn't really have that opportunity at all. So now that I have a son, and, you know, now that I'm married in a family that celebrates this, now I'm like, okay, so I have to kind of dabble in and see what this whole thing is about. And we haven't done the Christmas photos yet. I don't think I'm there. I do not think I'm there. You know, to do the flannel and the thing. I don't think I'm there. But yeah.
Why did you come so far north to the cold weather from Guyana? Makes no sense.
Great question.
You could have stopped at like
Well, I'll
Florida.
tell you what,
Yeah.
I originally moved from Guyana to Orlando.
Okay.
So my mom doesn't like the cold. So she moved. She first went to New York. She's like, no. We're gonna go to Orlando. So I guess I'm Floridian. You know, I went to high school. I know, right? I don't say it out loud. If we can bleep that part out, that'll be very much appreciated. But I think when I came here, went into high school, graduated high school, ended up going to college for computer science, because this is the recession area. I think it's 2008 or 9. And, you know, ended up losing my job and ended up DJing for a little bit, moved to Miami.
There you go.
DJed in Miami, started picking up a camera and started filming there. And then eventually moved to Chicago, because Miami is a great place to visit. But living there is a whole different beast.
Yeah.
Why is it a problem living in Miami?
You can lose yourself in a heartbeat. Miami is the type of place you either be top tier or you're bottom. There is no really middle class to it. And
really?
And, you know, like you have to either fake that you have the status or you have to have it. And that's something that, you know, I saw that I don't really want to be a part of this to that.
Why don't you go and hang out in Little Havana, man? That's wonderful.
I lived in Little Havana.
Oh, did you really?
Yes.
I love
22nd
Little
and
Havana.
Flagler. That's
Oh yeah,
yeah,
okay.
right, but not too far from the stadium.
Yep.
So that was, and I had to learn Spanish.
Absolutely love that area.
I remember moving into my building, and I was trying to find a bathroom, and I struggled, man. And the lady, she speaks only Spanish, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
And then she said, "Baño" was the first word.
Baño.
That I learned in Miami.
Baño, right?
Baño.
Yeah, baño. Yeah.
No, but I do like people come on the show and badmouth Florida, because I don't want anybody moving there.
Yeah,
you stay away, go somewhere else.
When I moved to Chicago, then I realized where I lived before, like what Florida was. And, you know, like, because when you're in Florida, all you know is that.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that bubble. And I remember living in Orlando or Miami at the time when the bath salt thing happened and the guy chewed it.
Yeah, I remember.
That wasn't a problem. That wasn't really news. That was just like, oh, you heard about that? Anyways, what we doing tonight, you know?
Right.
And then I left, and I'm like, wait a minute. That was actually
That's
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
You know, and we were
But that was Miami, not Orlando, I would think.
It's both.
It's both, really.
It's Florida. Florida is like in Orlando, like, you know, people play with alligators for fun, you know, and it's a different place. It's
not me.
And exactly, because you don't live there. And I think when I moved to Chicago is when I realized, like, wow, Florida is but you know what? I'm still happy I was raised in Florida to an extent, because that's the toughest of the tough skin that you can find. So Minnesota to me is like,
you can handle that.
You know where I'm from, Florida, bro. Like,
I saw a video of an alligator climb up a chain link fence and casually down it. And I said to myself, that's not for me. Not
big babies.
Well, that's the part of Florida that, yes, obviously, if you live in the city, I'm sure it's just fine. But it's the country out in the bayou type of the Everglades.
Nah, you'll find
the anacondas.
No. You'll find them in your pool.
Yes,
I don't know if you ever seen like a photo of a Florida house. It's always like a mesh over the pool. In the back.
Yes.
Every single one. Okay. That's not because of fall leaves. That's because that's not for leaves, fellas. That's for the alligators. That's for the gators.
See, I'm the exact opposite. I absolutely love Florida. I've lived there a couple different times, and I just love it.
It's a great place to visit for a couple of days. It's like Vegas. You go there and you get out.
Yeah, Vegas is a different deal. You're right about that. But
we go
to a different area. When we go to West Palm, it's very, very laid back. nobody being a pain in the ass. You know, that's a whole different area. There are areas of Florida there's some hubbub going on, and others it's just very peaceful and nice.
I like Tampa. You know, I would tell anybody go visit Miami, have some fun. Chicago is my favorite city because
Chicago's a great city.
I moved from Miami to Chicago, and you know, I think I that's when I quit my filmmaker job because you know, when you're not making enough money, it's like, all right, I'm 25 years old, I got to switch my life around. I'm in Chicago now. Let me just figure it out. And I started working at a door-to-door sales job in Chicago. My first winter.
Boy, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's a tough road to hoe right there, man.
It was 2013's polar vortex. That was my first winter, and I was knocking on doors. And that's how I ended up in Minnesota. I did really good in the sales, and they brought me here, and I used to sell CenturyLink.
I was trying to think of one place I lived that I didn't like. I've liked every place I've ever lived. I really have.
I don't like Iowa. I did an 8-month bid in Iowa.
Well, I've never lived in Iowa, so you might be right about that. But I spent a lot of time down there. So if you're in and out, I guess it's quite acceptable. Yeah, I've never lived in Iowa. That's not good.
I lived in Altoona.
Altoona.
Oh, at least they have a racetrack.
I smelt it every morning.
Yeah.
Every single morning.
Would you ever want to get back to Chicago then? Is that something?
You know, I think when I'm at the end of the road, I think Chicago, meaning like with my career, like, okay, it's time for me to settle down. I think Chicago is going to be that place.
Nice.
I have a son here now, so I'm here until he's 18.
How old is he?
7.
Oh.
So I got a couple more years to hang around. And when he's 18, I'm like, all right, buddy, I'm going to head to Chicago. So
a lot of violence downtown in Chicago now. That's the only problem.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful place,
Chicago.
man. Beautiful place. The
Chicago.
Diversity of it, very segregated, but still diverse. But I just, you know, it's my first Midwestern city. I've been to New York. I don't really like New York that much. I love Chicago. Love the summers. I love the winters. You know, coming from the South, like I'd rather sit through a snowstorm than I sit through one more hurricane, to be honest with you. So
yeah, hurricanes are not fun. There's no doubt about that.
Not at all.
Not fun at all. So, all right. Well, we got a couple more minutes. Anything anybody else wants to bring up?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. Okay, so where would be a place if our listeners want to know where to donate? Where's one for sure that's going to be there this year or for the Twin Cities Toy Drive?
I got a couple off the top of my head. We have Nordstrom in Mall of America. We have Porsche Ferraris over here, actually. They're there. We got Gray's, Emery Hotel, Potluck at Rosedale Center. Let me pull it up. We have
and you guys have like a website too to
TwinCitiesToyDrive.com.
Perfect.
Is where we have that. But I know we have some places on the east side as well too. But within the next week, we're gonna have on our website, it's gonna have a list of literally everything that you would need. We'll probably put up a donate link there as well too, because we're partnered with Impact 100 is a women-led organization here. They're going to be our fiscal sponsor. So if anybody donates, like it's a tax write-off because you're donating it to a 501(c)(3). So
that's awesome.
Yeah. I covered all the tracks for people. I'm making it easy for everybody.
I covered all the
and
tracks.
It's your third year?
This is the third year.
That's so impressive.
It was stumbled out the gate. Don't get me. I'm not running it. I'm still.
You're doing great, Adrian. That's so impressive to think that that's where you want to put all your time and energy for the next 2 months. That's so cool.
And I'll tell you again, like I said, having been through it myself, I hope you do understand what you're doing for people because they love it. They appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're going to end up with nothing. You don't give them something, they're going to end up with nothing. So it's a great thing you're doing, no doubt about that.
I'm here for it, man. You know, I always tell folks like this toy drive is going to be like what my legacy is. You know, I'm gonna be a filmmaker. I can, even if I work with Denzel Washington, it wouldn't matter. The toy drive is what I'm gonna actually leave. It's not an organization yet because like I don't have the time to put that energy to make it into an actual 501. But you know, in due time, it's gonna get there, and it's gonna be one of these things where it's just every year it's just gonna run on its own. But right now, it's just to build it and get these big names because luckily and thankfully, every single company from last year comes back.
Yeah.
So it's having that loyalty, like, no, we're with you. So now it's just to find the bigger companies to say, hey, you know what, we're with you too. And let's do this together and let's really build it. Because, you know, 5,000 toys is cool, but we can make a lot more of that. But I do have one good news potentially. A company reached out to me from Wisconsin and they want to donate like 8 pallets of their inventory, which sums up to 14,000.
That's awesome.
So
That's insane.
So I'm not jinxing it yet because like logistically we have to go get it and like where are these gonna go?
Yeah,
these are all toys.
These are it's like they have like these like lamps and stuff like that. So
okay.
So it's like all right, what am I gonna do with this? Because I already told them like yes, I'm gonna take.
You say yes, you figure it out,
and they have to get it appraised. And it's like okay, 8 pallets. That sounds like a semi truck.
Oh, that's a lot,
right?
Yeah,
and it's like okay. I'm not gonna go get this. So who do I have that can? Do I go to schools? Like where do I go to say, hey, I have a pallet of something for you? So, I think we have one organization that can handle that load. So it's just more of just within this week is to figure it out.
Yeah.
And if it all goes good next week, the Twin Cities Toy Drive is gonna kick off with like 14,000 donations, and then we start the toy drive. So that will be pretty freaking rad.
That's amazing.
So my fingers are crossed. I'm like, you know what? If this happens, it's gonna be cool. So
how do people reach out to you?
On the website, TwinCitiesToyDrive.com. There's a little space there. We are looking for volunteers. We're looking for more companies too. If it doesn't have to be a massive organization. It can be if like this office, like, hey guys, let's do a toy drive run, like bring in a toy, and if you have 5 toys, that's cool.
Yeah,
because the awareness of this is what's helping.
Yeah,
right. Is like the awareness of like what is this thing, and I'm seeing that awareness is getting a lot better because our submissions are coming in a lot more this year than the past 2. So every single person, if you know somebody that has a business that want to throw in a box in there and do it, do a office party. It doesn't have to be a box. It can be anything that donates towards the cause. So everybody can do something in a small way.
So cash is okay too.
Cash is fine. We have the download link. When that's up, that's going to be on the website. Is not download, the donation link. That's going to be on the website when we figured out that, and folks can donate there. The money I mostly use towards diapers and toiletries and stuff.
That's great.
I think we get a lot of toys, and folks need a lot more than that. So,
and what's the website again?
TwinCitiesToyDrive.com.
TwinCitiesToyDrive.com.
We'll post it on our sites too, for sure.
Thank you.
We have a caller for you, actually.
Oh, let's do it.
We have
I'm ready.
Yeah, we have an Adam on the phone.
Adam and Adrian. Now we're talking A&A.
Yeah, this is Adam, and I work for a construction outfit from Wisconsin. It's called Halber Lines. You might be able to give them a call. They might be able to donate a truck for you.
See?
Manifesting.
Wow. You see?
You see?
You see?
You say yes, we'll figure it out.
Adam, you just made my day. Because literally yesterday I was thinking about this. Like, man, I probably have to find somebody to donate a truck.
Yeah.
Or let me rent. So yes,
So
Adam.
what's the name again, Adam?
Halber Lines in Superior, Wisconsin. I don't have their number quite on me.
Halver. Yes, I found them on. It's HALVOR.
Perfecto. Thank you very much. You see, and thank you, man. That you really just made my day right there. Just the fact that you called in and made that suggestion, it shows that we're on a good way, man.
You're welcome, and have a good day.
You too.
Thanks,
Thank
Adam.
you. You're welcome.
Say hello to
Bye.
Eve. Say hello to Eve for me. I had to do it.
Oh my
God! Had to do it this once. I had this once in my life. I had to.
I'll
do
bet
it.
he's never heard that.
Oh, he's never heard that joke before. No.
I'm.
Oh no!
He's still,
Take it 100 times.
Adam, you're a good man. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I'm surprised.
Love the show.
So thank you.
Love you, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you didn't hit me with the Adrian. Like,
Oh, we already did. When he was looking for you, I was like, you should go in the hallway and just yell,
Just get it out.
Adrian!
And my last name is Wilson, so Castaway and Rocky is tough, man. It's been
That's a rough one. Yeah, I'm
tough high
sorry.
school years.
Tough couple of decades.
Oh my God, man! Thanks, Mom.
I love when our listeners call in because the listeners of the show are some of the most generous, giving, caring people. They're just see, this audience is a totally different deal. This audience tends to be successful. They got some dough. They're very giving people, and they don't want any credit for it when they give it, which I really love.
Yeah. I
do. I love that about
That's the true meaning of giving, man. And
it is.
And that just made my day. This just made my day. Now I can go home, smile, and
well, there you go.
jump on a laptop and just do some Twin Cities Toy Drive stuff today. I'm hype.
But look at that. We're going to go till about 5 after. It's 7 after. So it's a perfect time.
Perfect time.
We wrapped it
man.
up beautifully.
I appreciate y'all having me. This really means a lot.
Adrian will come back again. And again, give that address one more time so people can get right.
TwinCitiesToyDrive.com. You scroll down. We're looking for volunteers. We're looking for more companies. We're looking for ideas. We're looking for suggestions. You know, this is something that it's something for all of us. It's a community-led event, right? So everybody do their part, and let's put some smiles on some faces this year.
Especially this time of the year, especially with what's going on in the world right now. My God, everybody hates everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you. Thank y'all very much.
Wonderful
man.
to have you, and there's no question about that.
Yep.
I love it.
Yeah,
That's the first time I've ever heard you care about giving anything else to anybody else. How did that work out? You're usually a stiff.
No, I love people that give back to the community.
I do too.
And anything that people want to do to make other people's lives better or easier, I'm all for it.
That's how life should be. I mean, there have always been organizations like that. Like I said, the police department, the fire departments, the government workers, there are all these people. But I just love the fact he's stepping up and trying to help kids out, because I didn't ever have to go through a period where I got nothing for Christmas because of the federations. I mean, they would donate toys, and it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, and I look at it because I've never had to have toys or receive toys that were donated.
Right.
Grew up with both parents, and we had a blessed childhood. But I love Christmas, and to know that there's people out there that don't have the same experience you have, even a fraction of it, it's heartbreaking. And anything you can do to make them smile for a day.
I want all three of you, because Brittany's not in the studio right now. I want Andy and Tevin and Galfano to guess what were the toys that the Police Federation and the the Professional Firefighter Association, what were the toys they always donated? This is really easy.
Fire truck. I was going to say fire truck.
Police car.
Police car.
And who made the fire trucks?
Tonka.
You got it.
Yep.
Tonka trucks. It was always Tonka
Well, those
trucks.
things were solid.
They were solid. You're right about that.
Absolutely.
Are they even around anymore?
Yeah, Tonka's a thing still.
Is it still here?
I don't know. I wonder.
I have no idea if that's the case or not.
Let's see. Tonka. No, it's headquartered in Rhode Island now.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't think they were here anymore.
Oh, that was a Minnesota.
It was Minnetonka. That's what their name is.
Minnetonka. Yeah, that's where Tonka came from. It's Minnetonka.
Oh, interesting.
Yep.
Indeed. A friend of mine's grandfather was one of the people that started it, and there were a couple of brouhahas at that company, moved things around a little bit. So I just love having people in like that. It's the holiday season. That's one thing that, no question about it, that Halloween does kick off the holiday season. It's time to start thinking about other people. I know for some people that's very, very difficult to think about somebody other than themselves, but I would say 99.99% of our listeners do.
Yeah.
Which I really love.
I was talking to him on the way out. I was asking him how old his son is. He's 7. And he was, Bryson is his kiddo's name. And he said it was really hard the first couple of years. So now imagine, 3 years ago, he was 4, is walking by a big thing of toys and saying, those are not for you. Like, those are for.
Oh, yeah.
And,
We do that every time we go outside, Ethan.
So
taking things. These are not for you.
It's like a really beautiful lesson. Like, his son is really getting into it, like sees this big thing of toys. And now, like, what would a 7-year-old want? Like, help us pick out, what does a 4-year-old want?
Yeah.
And I was like, that is such a beautiful thing. That's more beautiful than giving your kid any gift.
No, I
is
agree.
teaching them to be excited about giving somebody else a gift. And I thought, wow, like that just gave me goosebumps. Adrian is lovely.
Great guy. Really is. The Eagles are at XL Energy Center on their farewell tour on Saturday, November 18th. You can see them with me and my suite with Catherine, of course. To enter, just go to the Tom Barnard app or the website at tombarnardshow.com. Listen for your name to be announced each day at 8:10, 9:10, and 10:10. Email us back by midnight at contests@tombarnard.com. That's just
TomBarnardShow.com.
It says tombarnard.com here.
Let me go there and make sure that's actually. I don't think that's real.
I think it is tombarnardshow.com.
Yeah, no. TomBarnard.com is not where they want to go.
I've never had a script on this show that was completely right.
Is that you're talking about for the email, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Tom Barnard, that's not a valid email.
TomBarnard.com is not an email address.
No, it is not. It's tombarnardshow.com, correct? Maybe they could put that in there next time.
I'm going to buy tombernard.com and then sell it
Yeah, I
to
was
the
going to say,
station.
Yeah, there you go.
grab that.
No, the problem is it exists.
I didn't pull
Oh,
up
somebody's
anything.
already. Oh, somebody bought it up already.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, there are a lot of people named Tom Bernard.
That's true.
At least 2.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, today's qualifier name for See the Eagles with Me in My Suite is Aaron Pace of Lauderdale, Minnesota. Aaron Pace, email us by midnight tonight at contest@tombernardshow.com. That's a whole different setup. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
It could also be, if it bounces back, it could also be at tombernardpodcast.com. We're going to have to verify this, I would say.
TomBernardShow.com is
I would
definitely
bet
our
it's
site.
probably, but tombernardpodcast.com also redirects to our site.
See?
So, I don't know.
I like the fact
Oh,
there's
no.
a lot of creativity in the script there.
It really is.
You know, I mean, you shouldn't have to follow actual facts. You shouldn't have to,
It's more of a feeling.
It's like an Indiana Jones kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like you got to guess the secret password, and in order to access
Yes.
the
Well,
tickets to.
and a lot of people just aren't into details. I'm not really a detail person.
You're not a detail guy?
No, although having been a journalist for 15 years, those are the kind of things you always try to get right. But
You would hope.
yeah, well,
I tell you, man, there's no question about it. Being a journalist for 15 years. What do you think of that?
yeah, well, that was before we were in public enemy number 1.
Well, there are a lot of public enemy number ones.
Yeah.
I would say right now, 2 political parties are public enemies number 1 and 1. It's not even 1 and 2. It's 1 and 1.
Yeah.
Tie.
You got I seriously, are we ever going to be able to meet in the middle?
No.
I don't care about the far left or the far right.
Hmm.
Let's kind of move toward the middle where we can actually get something done instead of you just shoving it down my throat.
Yeah, and I'm afraid I hate to tell you this, but there is no middle.
There is no middle.
No, you can't.
No,
You
you're
can't meet
absolutely
in the
right.
middle when there's no middle.
I guess I'm the only one in the middle then, because I will not. I'm not putting up with it. I don't want to hear it. These national news, not so much the local news, but the national news is disgustingly so phony.
What are you going to do? I mean, the news is the news. It's got to be reported.
Yeah, but it's reported to make money. That's the big problem.
I mean, there's not a lot of money being made in newspapers. That's for sure.
That
They
is true.
certainly are on
But if you're talking
television
about-
broadcast.
Yeah, if you're talking about cable news, that's a different thing.
Well, that's a whole different. They make tons of money. I mean, if you tune in,
Well, they did. I don't know if they still do because their ratings are in the toilet.
Fox and CNN both.
Yeah,
They're both in
absolutely.
the toilet.
Uh-huh.
Good. I'm glad to hear that because they've both been lying to us for a
Well,
long time now.
And CNN, they went into the toilet by pursuing the middle.
Yeah, they did.
So
You're right.
I hate that's just.
No, you're right about
That
that.
doesn't bode well. I mean, after all, it wasn't very watchable, so they could have done a better job.
So explain to me why it is that everybody has to have such an extreme position. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it's easy.
Well,
It is easy. You're right.
it's the pot was just waiting to be stirred.
But why?
It's because people's worst instincts are the most fruitful to exploit.
But it just amazes me as from now, generation to generation, it's always been, kind of an uncomfortable segue and all the rest of it. But now it's just so incredibly hate filled.
Yeah.
I don't even pay attention to it anymore. Every generation hates everyone else. It's like,
That's
why?
true, yeah.
I don't understand it. I don't hate anybody. I wouldn't waste my time hating anybody.
One thing I always hear, this is maybe not quite on point, but I always hear people like boomers like myself,
Mhm.
and they're talking about these millennials, they don't do this, they don't do that. And
Mhm.
I have to remind them, you created the millennials. So you're
it's true.
You're actually dumping on yourself there.
Well, the biggest problem is the education system is so screwed up in this company and this country
Well,
now.
it's-
It's
yeah,
disgusting.
But it's largely also the economy because these millennials, they have to have like 3 or 4 gigs.
I know to afford college because college is like $100,000 a year now. It's
Other than that,
absurd.
Let's not forget, I went to college for one day, and this is absolutely the reason. It was 1970, so it was during the hippie deal that was going on.
Well, I went to class for one day.
Yeah, well, there you
I
go.
stayed in college for 4 years. So I went to class for one day.
I'm still in college. I'll be paying for college and being in college for the next 10 years of my life.
Looking back on that now, the fact that I did go to college for that one day and that whole hippie deal where we're all going to peace, love, and dope or whatever the hell it was, the slogans.
Probably the right one.
But
Probably
I just
the right slogan.
Probably is. I went in for one day and sat and watched the students interact with the teachers, the professors, the things that the professor said. And I literally, and that was, like I said, 53 years ago. I went, this is complete and utter bullshit. These people really believe this? And I just walked out of the building and never went back.
What class were you in?
Psychology.
Calculus.
Psychology 101.
Oh, Psych 101. Yeah.
60s psychology was pretty crappy.
It was insanely crappy.
I took that class for some reason. But I did pass fail. So I never read any book or anything.
You're lucky.
I just guessed. I think I got I would have gotten like a D minus, but instead I got a pass.
No, that's exactly right. And now
Good
it's
enough.
just, look, I'm not going to talk about things directly, but I cannot believe the things that are happening in America right now between the generations. It disgusts me. You all disgust me because you will not listen to anybody else. You got all the answers.
Yeah,
That's not how life's supposed to work.
The thing about colleges where it really can be helpful is you go through all this stuff, but there's usually one or two people there. I'm talking usually about professors who can really inspire you. And that was the deal. I had a political science professor and I had a composition teacher. And those two guys I listened to. And then I didn't really, since I didn't go to any classes, I can't really, it's not hard for me to critique other professors, but a lot of these professors, it's just, they just want you to just,
they phone it in.
They want you to echo what they're saying.
Absolutely.
And now not all are like that. Not all are like that. But there are some. And so, but it's look, you go to school like the U of M, where there are 50,000 students and about 5,000 teachers, professors, associates, whatever you call them. I mean, you're gonna get every kind of person possible.
What college was that we were talking about the other day? This has 2,500 more, or Harvard. It's Harvard. 2,500 more professors than there are undergraduates.
What?
They have enough. They have
Look it up, Andy.
They have a lot of money in the bank there.
Yes, they do.
But
They got a lot of money in the bank.
The thing about Harvard, and Harvard's getting a very bad reputation these days, and they're earning it. But it's the students. It's mostly there's a few professors who've gone off the grid too.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
But it's largely students. But the thing you got to remember about Harvard is that like 20% of the students there are legacies.
Yes, they are.
So they really
was it only 20%?
Well, it could be more there. Yeah, I think Yale is less, but Harvard is like 20-25%.
Right.
And these are people for the most part that don't deserve to be there.
You're absolutely right, 100%. And that's the biggest problem I always had. You have to understand, I never liked one teacher I've ever had, not one.
Well, you got to meet a lot of them to find those two who will inspire you.
Yeah, you do.
And the first day, you're probably not going to click.
I don't click well with that kind of deal.
Especially
anyway.
with a psychology class, which is in that psychology class, there were probably 400 students, right?
Oh, there were a lot of students.
You're in a huge auditorium.
But here, it was a big auditorium. You're right.
Yeah.
But here's what I hated the most. So I'm talking there going, oh, so are you new to the class? Yeah, it's my first day here. Oh, well, welcome to class. It's going to be great having you around and you're going to love this class. And we're talking back and forth and blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden the professor comes as a young woman. She looked to be probably around 35, something like that. She was a professor. As soon as she walked in the room, all of a sudden everyone had an accent like this. Professor, could I ask you a question? What are you in England now? All of a sudden you're British? Really?
Yeah, they've seen too many movies.
They have seen too many movies. There's no doubt about it. What'd you find out, Andy?
There's 7,200 undergrads, or there was in fall. There's only 2,400 professors, but there's 16,000 staff in total. So 14,000 non-professors to run Harvard. How? 14,000 is like a small city. Yeah. How do you need that many people to keep one college running?
That's wild.
Well, a lot of those people are probably graduate students, and so the graduate students really are not teaching.
Do they count as staff and faculty?
Yeah.
Oh, they do. Oh,
yeah. Because in the newspaper article, I can't remember. It was a Washington. I can't remember what it was, but it was a news article that said they have 2,500 more professors than they have undergraduates.
They have 2,400 professors.
God, that's amazing. So they got the numbers backwards. So there's like 14,000 not professors.
14,000 non-professor staff.
Non-professor staff. There you go.
And then 2,400 professors, lecturers, and instructors.
Jesus.
Well, there's always a
For
lot of
what?
there's a lot of bureaucracy. When I went to the U, I just took the classes I wanted to take because I knew I was never going to be able to graduate because of my ADHD.
Right.
So I like literally like in the first few days I thought, okay, this isn't going to work. I can't go to these classes. I can't listen to these
Can't
people.
do it. Couldn't do it.
So
I couldn't.
So I would take all the classes I wanted, but a lot of the classes I wanted to take were not classes that you were supposed to take as an undergraduate. Like if you were supposed to build a foundation of the classes that you had to take in order to graduate. So since I didn't plan to graduate, I always had to appear before the academic subcommittee or something like that.
Oh, sure.
So I'd go into this room and there'd be a couple people there sitting at desks and they had rubber stamps. And I'd go in and I'd say, I remember the first time I said, I'm taking these classes, but apparently I have to have your approval. And they said, well, why haven't you taken the classes that you have to take to graduate? And I said, because I have no intention of graduating.
Yeah.
And this guy looked at me and he said, yeah, I can understand that.
There you go.
And he gave me the rubber stamp. And after that, like every quarter, I'd go in there, they'd see me coming, they'd reach for the rubber stamp, stamp the document, and that was it. So it's
a weird situation.
But then again, of course, I'm hurting the reputation of the college by not graduating because
the numbers.
They want everybody to graduate and they want them to graduate on time, which hardly anyone does anymore.
Oh, that's true.
So I just did a quick calculation. The number of staff at Harvard per square mile is almost twice that of the city of Duluth.
Dang. Yeah, but
So I'd say there might be a little overstaffed.
Is that why tuition might be a little high?
Well,
might be,
business,
yeah.
Well,
Might
tuition
be.
is high, but most students don't pay tuition
No, that's right. Yeah, that's
because
true.
they got so much money in the bank. I mean, billions of dollars.
Billions.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. Be right back in a couple of minutes. We'll take a break and be back with Kristen Burt right after this.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years. But I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw & Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw & Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit tombernardshow.com, keyword partner.
You can't call him
You're gonna hear a little bit of brushback against that.
What?
Uncle Tom.
I know. They kept calling me Uncle Tom.
Yeah,
what the hell is that?
Tevin wrote that one.
Yeah, way to
Tevin
go,
wrote that one.
Tevin.
Yeah,
That was
thanks
his
a lot.
copy.
Thanks a lot for calling me Uncle Tom.
I didn't think you were going to notice. But
I told you, I cannot tell you how many times I was get, hey, what's your name? Tom. I can't call you Uncle Tom.
oh, well, yeah, my dad's name is Tom.
Oh.
And so I was like, yeah, that's my grandpa as well. This runs in the family.
All right.
So,
Got a lot of Uncle Tom, Grandpa Tom, Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
I think it's okay unless you live in a cabin.
Yeah, if I got a cabin, it'd be a problem.
You definitely can't buy a cabin up north.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's an Uncle Thomasina. Her name is Kristen Burt.
We're in a new location today.
We
Where
are.
are you?
I went to sleep and I woke up in Florida.
You woke up in where in Florida?
I'm currently in Jensen Beach. I flew into Miami this morning and
you did?
then
Okay.
took the Bright Line up to West Palm. And then my mom picked me up and I'm here in Jensen Beach.
Where's your mom now?
My mom's
In
somewhere in the
Jensen
other
Beach?
room.
But I mean, she lives in Jensen Beach.
She lives in Jensen Beach, yeah.
How far is that from Palm Beach?
From West Palm, it's about 50 minutes.
50?
50, yeah, 50.
Oh, okay.
I never heard of Jensen Beach.
I never have either.
Stewart, are you familiar with Stewart?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's right by
It's
Stewart.
right there. Okay.
Yeah.
What direction is that?
North of Palm
North.
Beach.
North. Okay.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's like halfway to Orlando almost.
Yeah. I'm working in Miami this weekend, so I took a couple
that's a long
extra
drive.
days to come down here and see my mom.
What are you doing in Miami?
I am doing a little public speaking on Sunday.
Oh, here we
Ooh,
go.
exciting.
What it's like to
fancy, I
work with that asshole Tom. Is that what your speech is about?
No.
No.
I promise. I'm gonna
Opening
say,
line of her speech is, if I can overcome working with Tom, you guys can overcome it.
if you only knew what it's like working with Tom Barnard every morning from my closet.
Last night, Catherine and I sat down. We had a wonderful night, and it just hanging out together. And Catherine and I sat down and watched Old Dads, the Bill Burr movie.
Mm-hmm.
First 45 minutes was hilarious. The last 45 minutes just was nothing.
Yeah.
It just didn't go anywhere. Once they got away from him being crabby, it wasn't funny anymore.
I see.
When he's crabby, that first 45 minutes, we were laughing our ass off. It was unbelievable. We were laughing. And then you got to that 45 minute. So there's 45 minutes. I think it's an hour and 45 minute long.
That's typical of comedy movies.
It absolutely is now. The last half is all.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially because they switch from, like you're saying, the crabby, it's all funny, to, oh, well, now he's
Learned the
changed and he's
lesson.
different. He's learned his lesson, so
Yeah.
now it's not as funny.
I always sign off with whenever they start with the romance stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Yep.
I understand it's appealing, but the love interest thing, it's just not funny.
No, it's
That's
not.
true.
And I'll tell you, I would not steer people away from the movie. Just expect the fact that the first 45 minutes is very funny and the last hour is not. It's
So
okay.
should they ditch it after 45 minutes or stick with
No,
it?
you can stick with it. It's still a good movie. It's just not funny for the last hour of it. I mean, there are different things going on. First of all, Bill Burr is a very funny guy anyway.
Yep.
There's a scene at the very beginning when their kid is at a very woke school, which ain't working for Bill Burr a lot. I will tell you that. But he starts arguing with I don't know if she's the principal or what.
Yeah, she's like the dean.
So you've seen the
principal
movie
type.
as well?
Yep.
Would you agree the last hour is not that great?
It definitely slows down.
Yeah.
Like
It's
it'll-
okay.
It'll have its moments, but yeah, it definitely, you can tell they're like, well, now this is our time to be serious in the movie.
So as he's picking up his little child who's about 4 or 5 years old, he gets in an argument with the director of the school and refers to her as the big C. So they get through it, all this whole situation. They get home, and the little 5-year-old goes up to his mom and goes, "Mom, what's a big C?"
Oh no.
And the
That's
best part
quite a
is,
conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
the best part is before he brings the kid into the house, he like stopped to get some
Yes,
ice cream. He's like,
yes.
okay, we're not going to tell mom what happened today. And then the first words out of the kid's mouth. What is that?
I have a question.
Bobby Cannavale's in it too, and he's terrific. in it.
I love Bobby Cannavale.
I do too. I think he's wonderful.
I feel like I gotta watch this because I feel
It's
like
a good
there's
movie.
so many connections to, because Justin and I are older parents, and he is, from a small town, gets a little annoyed with some of the ridiculousness that goes into like the gentle parenting. So this might be a more extreme version of Justin.
It's
You
funny.
are young, Britt.
Yeah.
Are you saying he wants to thrash your child?
Yeah,
Is that it?
of course.
Gee, that's tough.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I would not tell people to move away. You are going to laugh a lot in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And then not so much toward the end. It's not that it gets bad. It just is not as funny in the second half.
That's good to know.
But highly recommend.
I would too. I think it was everybody in it does a terrific job. But, have a good laugh and settle in. That's it.
Kristen, are we gonna get your mom cameo just in the background?
I could try and bring her in. I have to go and get her, or I
What's
can bring
her
her
name?
tomorrow too. Like bring your mom to work day.
Yeah, bring your mom to work day.
Yeah, I'll do that tomorrow. That way she can
Well-
print for the camera.
Your brother still live in Florida?
He's in Miami. Yep.
I thought so. Yeah. He's
My
still
whole
living
family's
there.
in Florida. My dad's over in Longboat Key.
Oh, I
and-
love Longboat Key. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and my brother's in Miami, and my mom's in Jensen Beach.
Really, all of those people in my family are dead. Thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, thanks a lot,
Yeah,
Kristen,
way to
for
go, Kristen. I feel
attacking
much
Tom.
Jeez, I know. How rude of me.
Premeditated.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I got 3 uncles murdered. I'll think about them not being around either. So.
Yeah.
Well,
Thanks
my
a lot.
uncle passed away earlier this year. If that
Was he murdered?
no, he died of
Not the same
Parkinson's
fault.
and Lewy body dementia.
That's a tough road to hoe.
That's
That
rough.
was sad.
That's a tough road to hoe.
The reality is there are no happy endings.
Pretty much true. So yeah, other than Bill Burr's movie, and again, I'm not going to tell you don't watch it because the last half is not as good as the first half.
I'm going to watch 45 minutes and then I'm going to cut out.
Well, it's still entertaining. It's just not funny.
Okay, it's the ultimate Tom Barnard move. Like, I'm out. Shut it
Goodbye.
off. Never find out how it ends.
I would pay $3 for 45 minutes of hilarity.
Me too.
Yeah, it's
You'd
like
like
a
some of
TV.
these, yeah.
It's like a double length TV show.
Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Perfect.
What else is coming out? Anything else coming out? I'm going to like anyway.
Well, we kind of have a mystery solved, and we've been talking about this a long
Oh.
time. Yeah, a little bit of mystery. I kind of like this. We've been talking so much about Taylor Sheridan's shows, Yellowstone.
Right,
And everyone was wondering,
yes.
what are his next series going to be called? Remember, you were thinking it was going to be like 1963?
Yes.
Found out today. He's going to have 2 new series come out, 1944 and
44.
2024.
Why?
He is doing a prequel, 1944 and 2024. I guess he's going to hit modern day. Both of them will be coming next year, along with the final season of Yellowstone, or the back half of season 5. And of course, Kevin Costner won't be in it because
No, he's not going to be in it.
no, he's done. Even though he tried to beg his way back in after his divorce got very expensive. but
Right.
Am
Right.
I,
without him.
am I the only one? You guys remember these names so easily.
I know. I have no
And
idea who the hell you're talking about.
It's like there's nothing that would make me remember 1944. Like there's nothing.
Well,
I
there
don't know
was
how
something-
you guys spit them out so quickly. Tom, you're always like, oh, 19, what?
There was something going on that year.
Yeah, it was a little busy.
Like, I just like,
You
because
remember,
there's,
you've heard of Hitler, right?
yeah, I'm just saying that like there's this like the 4th series that is just a year and they just get
Yeah.
all blurred
yeah.
in my brain where I go, can we like, if I'd actually do better if we said pre-Hitler, like bam,
Yeah,
right
sure.
there. Like
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
work better for me.
Actually, I was told I can answer your question if you want,
Yeah.
because I was told by a psychologist many years ago why I do that.
Yeah.
Apparently, when there are kids that don't get along with the parents and, maybe dad and they don't get along or whatever, they tend to be very mathematical in all of their thinking because
Interesting.
nothing adds up.
So you have that
So you
one
get better
comment.
and better.
Yeah.
You don't even know you're doing. You get better and better and better at mathematics and arithmetic and the whole deal. It just because you're trying to put together the numbers that just don't fit.
It sounds like a classic middle child too.
Oh, absolutely.
And I have a middle child who is great at math.
I'm only 4 out of 7,
Yeah.
so there couldn't be any more middle.
Yep.
You're very middle.
I mean, you don't even know you're doing it.
Yeah.
It just becomes everything has to make sense to you. So you get really good at math in your head.
Huh.
To go, okay, well that's why that doesn't make sense.
And have you been watching all these series too? Like, have you been watching all of his prequel stuff?
Taylor Sheridan?
Yeah.
Yeah, we watch a lot of Taylor. Well, there's so much to watch.
Yeah,
Kristen. I mean,
that's
my
true.
God.
100%. He is Paramount Plus Network. I mean, like
He
he's
is.
the one saving
He
them.
is.
If they did not have Taylor Sheridan, there would be no Paramount Plus right now, other than maybe football.
So what is it? I wonder why 1944 though, because it's obviously the end of World War II coming up right around the corner.
He
Isn't
must
a lot
feel
of-
like story-wise, there's something he wants to do with it.
Well, I could see that. Yeah.
I
mean-
don't really understand. I'm not knocking it, but I have seen bits and pieces of Yellowstone. I do not understand the mania.
No, I understand. I think that's his lamest series, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I can be honest with you.
Interesting. Hot take.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember, he has a Matthew McConaughey series as well coming
Oh,
out.
that's right.
That'll
Yeah,
also be out in 2024. I mean,
I can write.
that'll be good. I think Matthew
No,
McConaughey will probably be good.
He's always good.
He's always good. And the one thing about Taylor Sheridan is that he's getting all of the A-listers to come to TV. I mean, if you can get Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford and Kevin Costner, listen, wasn't having much of a career before Yellowstone. This was his big comeback.
Yeah.
So it obviously put him back on the map. He's already had a great career, but this was sort of that second chapter.
You know what's really weird about that is he was on the KQ Morning Show 5, 6, 7 times. Could not ask for a nicer guy.
Yeah.
Just very even keel, nice guy. And then I find out behind the scenes in acting, he's a massive pain in the ass.
Always had a difficult reputation on
Always.
set. Always. Also had
No.
very difficult marriages. Like he's
Yep.
not an easy guy to get along with, but maybe he's just someone who understands what it takes to be a movie star. And
Yeah.
He reminds me of people that don't like routine. Like he doesn't like.
probably.
I mean, that's why he has a band. It's why he's great in interviews. Is because he likes being on his toes.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like as soon as things become mundane or routine, he's over it.
new wife, new
wife,
girlfriends, new
new
affair,
job,
whatever it is.
New project, new band, new whatever. Like he does not do well with like, all right, we're in a rhythm. It's like all of a sudden he goes into panic mode.
And he's got a huge 4-part Western coming out over the next couple of years called Horizon that he is financing partly himself. He actually mortgaged his $145 million California ranch. So that will be interesting. If it doesn't pay out, that's a lot of money to lose.
Does he still have it since he's been divorced a couple times?
He does still have it. Yep.
Has he got half of it
He
or a third of it?
split it in
or-
half.
No, he's got the whole thing, believe it or not. And
Really?
his ex-wife, his current ex-wife, was living on the property, but she now has moved on to Montecito near Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. She's doing fine.
Isn't she like 19 or something? She looks
No,
about
she's
half his
50.
age.
She's 50.
50? God, she does not look 50, I'll tell you that.
No, that's probably why he married her.
She's at California 50. This is
Yeah.
the rest of the world.
California 50, that's a whole different deal.
It's true. Like, you know,
it
it's
was-
funny. Like you go home for like high school reunions and you're like, is that what everyone's supposed to look like? Because you're so used to
Yeah.
people as they age not moving because everyone's Botoxed or facelifted. Or
They got the drive-through Botox now, right?
Well, they
pretty
do.
much. You can do Botox
Your
parties.
face out, they inject, and then you're on your way.
Right,
Your
that's
dentist
right.
can do it. I mean, you really can get it done anywhere at this point.
Yeah.
I imagine. So anything new coming up in the movie department, series department, anything funny?
Well, the big one this weekend is going to be Meg Ryan's movie, the rom-com I talked
I
about
like her.
yesterday. Yeah. So
Yeah, I've been reading a lot about that.
I'm excited about it. I really think that this could be kind of interesting. A lot of women, you know, who were written off when they were 40 are sort of like coming back with a vengeance, you know, at 55 and 60 and saying, hey, you know what? I'm just taking this in my own hands and I'm going to do it my way. And I think that's really what Meg Ryan did. She's like, I stepped back, raised my daughter, and I decided I still had some creative things I want left to accomplish. So she's directing and she's starring it with David Duchovny, another person we haven't seen a lot of recently. So
Californication was the last one, wasn't it?
And I mean, there was an X-Files
Oh yeah,
movie, but I mean,
that's right. Yep, that is true. I don't know. I'm telling you, streaming's the best it's ever been. TV has never been better than it is right now.
it was. Remember, we're on the other side of what's happening now, unfortunately. And the big news too is Disney is going to buy out Comcast, so they will be the 100% owners of Hulu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know we've talked about that quite a bit. Like, what was going to happen? Was Disney going to sell off Hulu? Were they going to keep it? But it looks like they're buying off Comcast for about $8.6 billion.
Is there any big shakeup that is going to come to Hulu users because of this, or should it just be business as usual?
I think that there'll be shakeups down the line once they get everything settled and the sale goes through, because, when you have things like that happen, there's always layoffs, of course, there's budget cuts, and on our end, and they just did a price increase, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's another price increase coming, 6 months down the line.
Somebody said, and I did see something on my TV last night. I didn't read a whole lot about it, but somebody said that the news channels are all going to be kicked off free streaming, and you're going to have to pay to watch the news channels now.
Well, not your local news, but
no, not the local news,
like CNN is moving to HBO and Max, so you're going to start seeing things like that happen, because. And we're going to see a lot of mergers too. We're going to see some of the smaller networks. They're going to be forced to merge with some of the bigger ones because they're not going to be able to survive. The great experiment was streaming. We threw a ton of money at it. We threw a ton of money at actors and directors. Turns out we can't support that. So that's why I keep on saying streaming. We were just in the golden age. We're on the other side of that now. And it's just going to be it's still going to be quality, but it's not going to be the mass quantity that we saw over the last 5 years or so.
Well, I got to be honest with you, and I'm not well known as being a cheap guy, but I'm not going to pay money to watch Fox or CNN. There's no way I'm going to pay for that.
That's fine. I mean, honestly, if it does away with some of the biased news networks,
I agree.
Yeah, it's okay.
At this point, you'd have to pay me to watch it.
Well,
exactly.
Yeah, and I have the feeling that we all pay for Fox.
What do you mean?
For Fox News. I mean, because of churning the hatred is what I mean.
Oh, because they don't do that on CNN?
It's a different kind of
duckies and bunnies.
It's a different kind of thing. I mean,
it's vicious, horrible crap.
Plus,
is what it
plus,
is.
the CNN is smart enough not to get sued for $1 billion.
Well, that was stupid.
Yeah.
Although they did the same exact thing that the other network did. That's what I love about this whole deal. You know what's so amazing? If you look, the two guys that are running for president right now, they're basically the same exact person. Money grubbing pieces of shit. It's just disgusting. I mean, it's money, and people hurting each other and not caring.
And now they're fighting about which one is more decrepit.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
That is really funny.
Guess what? They're both winning. That's the amazing thing.
That's what's so funny. I do love that they're like, you're gonna die in office. No, you're gonna die in office.
You stumble more. You have, your cognitive decline is greater than mine. Like
you can tell that they'll send out these unflattering photos, like somebody in mid-sentence are like Trump kind of doing anything in his weird body, but it's just so funny. They're both like, look at this man, like he's falling apart at the seams, and they're both just like,
and they should be able to come to some kind of agreement with that. They should be brothers.
No, too much money involved.
Well, of course,
it's all about money.
But it's ageism, at its finest, and you're like, dude, all you're doing is out aging each other. It's like, don't stop it.
I know I might look terrible, but you look even more terrible than my terrible.
Was Mitch McConnell the one who had the kind of the brain freeze?
Oh yeah.
So they had a funny. You would have loved this, Tom. There's a funny Halloween costume of this family who was acting like the PR, the person around Mitch McConnell, and the 2-year-old who's like a silent kind of in that stranger danger mode was Mitch McConnell. So they had them all dressed up as Mitch McConnell, and they asked a question, and then the baby was just doing this, kind of staring up in the distance like babies do, and they're like, Mitch, we're gonna have to get Mitch going. It was just such a funny Halloween costume.
I don't understand why we're allowing that. First of all, I don't think you should be able to serve more than 2 terms in any job in the government.
I love it.
This lifelong job. I mean, you had Mitch McConnell, who's losing it.
Yeah.
We just lost Dianne Feinstein.
Who didn't know what the hell she was doing. That was cold of them to put her on national TV because she had no idea what the hell was going on.
Same with Mitch McConnell. Like the two of them. No, it's ridiculous.
He obviously had we were watching him have a stroke.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much. You know, and then of course, a few days later, I'm just fine. There's nothing wrong with me.
I
know. He just walked out in public too with obvious like bruises. You know, I mean,
but he's done that before. You know, he's shown up with bruises on like 3 or 4 occasions, and reporters would ask what it was, but of course, you know, never got an answer.
If anyone knows, it's Gelfand. You can't have people self-report, like, you know, what you're dealing with your father, like when it's time to take their license away or anything like that. Like, I'm sure we're all going to put up a big fight. So it's like, how are you going to ask our congressmen or anybody in a state of office to self-report when their cognitive decline is happening? You can't.
And, you know, guys that age, you know, the so-called, you know, heroic generation.
Yeah.
They have a special adversity toward acknowledging any weakness at all.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the boomers won't be quite that bad at that. I mean, it's hard to know. Boomers are just starting to show up in the dementia wards.
Yeah, that's true.
But with these guys, I mean, you know, they cannot acknowledge vulnerability.
I just don't understand I suppose it's always been this bad though, because as I said, I lasted 1 day in college because the things they were puking up back then was all bullshit too.
Yeah.
So I guess it's been like this forever.
I think we just know more. We just know more about everyone's everything. There's video everywhere. If something happens, it's not like, you know, it's just, we see everything now, and it's a lot. I think you're right. Like, it's probably always been this way.
Well, I mean, I did not know until I would guess just a few months ago that Abraham Lincoln was gay. Did you know that?
Get some, Abe.
That's been a rumor for a long time.
Well, it's not a rumor. They got proof that he lived with a guy for like 5 years when he
was he bisexual?
Right.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, probably bisexual. Yeah, that's probably
roommates. Rent was expensive back in that cabin, and he needed somebody to Airbnb his house out.
There was only one bed in the house, so let's guess what was going on there. Okay, it was one bed.
Don't tell the majority leader this.
No.
He wants to make it illegal for people to have sex with each other.
Also,
gay sex. The Speaker of the House.
Abe liked theater. Is that what you're gonna say?
Not so much when he got shot in the noggin in one. I'll tell you that.
Saying, we're gonna lead into stereotypes.
All right.
Get some, Abe.
It's also a shame that it was wasted on somebody that wasn't over the top, stereotypically gay. You know what I mean? Like, I want Nick Swardson from I Pronounce You Chuck and Larry with like a rainbow and wings on as the president.
Abe was a sharp dresser too, though.
He was a sharp dresser.
Yeah.
I bet he kept the hat on during sex.
The top hat. Yeah, he wouldn't take that off, I'm sure.
That is a power move. He is he's a top.
You know, he's a top.
Gosh.
No question.
Love it. Or a power bottom. That's the thing too.
What's the Speaker of the House's name again?
Mike Johnson.
Mike Johnson. He's the one he wants to do what?
Well, he has submitted bills. He's written bills that would make it illegal for gay people to have sex.
So why was he the choice of everybody in the House?
I guess because they felt he spoke for them.
And what does he care?
No, I'm talking about the Democrats even just didn't have as big a fit about him as the other two.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I've heard that they're going to use it to their benefit.
Well, so good.
Sure.
So they're going to make money out of gay people being bashed on national television.
No, they're going to leverage it for votes, you know, because we are moving into an election year, and they're going to say, if you know, this is what they're offering the Republican Party.
Yeah, right. That does serve the interests of Democrats. Not that they could have done anything about it anyway. I mean,
they did for the first two.
Well, the first two that was because those votes were divided by the Republicans. But now,
which I still don't understand.
But now the Republicans always had the ability to come together as one, and
they wouldn't do it though.
Well, they wouldn't do it then. Now, the thing is, they look like such fools that they finally said, "Okay, we just got to get a guy here."
Question. Is it only gay people that can't have gay sex, or can straight people have gay sex? I want some clarification.
I don't think anyone can have gay sex.
We can or can't?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No. Well,
all right. Now I'm affected, and
his wife, Mike Johnson's wife, runs a conversion therapy group or something.
Yeah. Well, he was big into that whole thing that you can pray the gay away.
Yeah, which is extremely harmful. That has been proven to be extremely damaging.
Yeah, he's still in favor of it, though.
You had a chance to go with Tom Emmer, who is about as even keel as they get. And I'm not saying that just because he's from Minnesota, but Tom Emmer is very even keel. Like, he's not anti-gay sex or anything like that.
No.
Why didn't they go with him?
Because he did not try to overturn the election.
That he did not. That's exactly right.
And that's why they wouldn't. Mike Johnson, of course, he was a leader trying to overturn the election. Yeah,
I don't care if they won. Their parties are going to be the worst. If you're somebody if your stance is anti-gay sex, your election party, they're boring. You're going to have some boring parties.
Well, it works in Louisiana, but I'm not sure it works on a national level.
I just don't think anybody can pick either one of these parties. I think they're both disgusting as hell.
Well, I think it's interesting. You have two retiring representatives now who are just like, this party has been hijacked by the far right, by MAGA election deniers. And they're like, we can't do our job anymore.
Yeah, there's no place for them anymore.
Yep.
All right. Is there anywhere?
Yeah. I mean, for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's always a place somewhere, but
there's a place for us somewhere.
Yeah,
you can always be a lobbyist.
Now, I'm not going to get deeply into this next one, but there's a thing happening in America right now I thought would never happen. And a lot of people in the wrong party are involved in it. And I do not understand what the hell they're thinking.
Well, there's a lot of that going on in the world.
Well, I know, but it should have never happened here.
You wouldn't think so.
You wouldn't.
It's a very disappointing environment.
I would have to agree with you on that one. It's like, oh God, we got to get Kristen out of here. It's almost 10 o'clock 11 o'clock.
Like, you're annoying. Get out.
Okay, bring your mom tomorrow.
I want to see your mom.
All right. Tomorrow, I'll bring my mom to work. I will prep her.
Perfect.
All right. Behave.
Have a good one, you guys.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. We'll take a break. Be right back in a couple minutes to wrap things up.
This is the Tom Barnard Morning Show. Listen live on the Tom Barnard Show app or at tombarnardshow.com.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. Get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Tom here, and I just read a success story from MN Fat Loss client Elizabeth, who just completed the program. Elizabeth writes, I'm a 54-year-old woman who has struggled with losing weight. I had almost constant heartburn, trouble sleeping, brain fog. I tried counting calories, eating bars and shakes, and several other programs in which I would lose 5 to 10 pounds after months of struggling. After 60 days of the MN Fat Loss program, I was down 25 pounds. MN Fat Loss had really empowered me to believe that I can control my eating and my weight without having to sacrifice foods that I like. If you're thinking about finally committing to improving your health, this is the time to start. You won't regret your investment in yourself. It's so easy to see if MN Fat Loss is a good fit for you. They offer a free phone consultation to learn about the program. They also have virtual options to help you if you live far away, which I think is a brilliant idea. To schedule that free phone consultation, go to mnfatloss.com. The only thing you have to lose is that unwanted weight. That's www.mnfatloss.com. I cannot wait to hear about your success story. And please let them know that Tom sent you. All right, we only got like 2 minutes left here, if you can believe it. But I got to go with this story because of the headline. I have not looked at the story, but I've looked at the headline.
All right.
Grubhub delivers man a cup of pee instead of Chick-fil-A milkshake.
Oh, those are not interchangeable.
Nope, they're really not. I don't really
They
understand.
probably figured maybe he'd have it tested or something.
One's thicker than the other.
And one of the smart asses
I
who wrote
hope.
the story. Yeah, exactly. One of the smart asses that wrote the story said, by the way, no refills.
No refills.
You can't have any more pee.
Chick-fil-A shakes are very good, you guys.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah. Well, the last time I ordered up a meal to be delivered by DoorDash, it was DoorDash.
Oh, DoorDash, yeah.
and they delivered it to a car dealership.
What?
Good attention to detail.
Yeah,
guys.
I've had that happen before, where you order something and they go, "We left it at your doorstep," and then you look over
you
at your
at the
neighbor's
picture.
house, and it's across the street.
And this time it wasn't across the street. There was this. I don't live very near the car dealership.
Oh, okay.
So of course I filed the complaint. I figured, at least I won't get the meal, but I get my money back. They wouldn't give me my money back.
Why not?
They said that like 2 years earlier, I had reported something similar and they'd given me my money back. So their policy is to only give people's money back.
How would they even know that what happened 2 years
Oh,
ago?
well, everything's in the computer, you know.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
God.
the thing is, like, okay, so when we fuck you over once, we'll give you your money back.
Yeah,
But twice,
there you go.
You should have known better. And I
That
guess
we
you
were
could-
going to do that.
you could
Twice,
sorta
shame
argue.
on you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Did
shame on
you-
me.
Ever figure out why it went to the dealership?
I think that what happened was the driver got lost.
I just gave up and
So
went
he
there.
just gave up and dropped it off at the car dealership.
It's the kind of employee I am.
I mean, wouldn't you want your meal to go to a car dealership if you had your choice?
Listen, I've had to wait at a car dealership, and I would have been pumped if somebody just bring me a turkey sandwich. So
Wouldn't
I
that be
hope
nice?
somebody got it at least.
Well, and of course, my father-in-law was a car salesman. So, I kind of feel like, okay, well, if he got the meal, I'd say that was okay.
Yeah.
But you can't take a donation, though. You can't take a write-off for this.
No, so sorry
For
for your
feeding to the
loss.
car dealership.
Yeah.
No, you can't do it.
Why not?
Well, actually, you probably could because, there are hardly any IRS agents left. So you might be able to.
Has anyone been following the moose on the loose?
No.
No, but I've heard somebody mentioned it earlier.
Oh, yeah?
What's going on?
There's a moose just walking around Minnesota, like not very far from us right now.
I don't understand. I don't understand why that's like. Why?
Because moose don't come down this far south.
Right.
No, they don't.
Almost ever.
Well, it's that whole
Almost
thing
ever.
about being, driven out of your environment. Yeah. So where was he last? Where was the moose last seen?
Most recently, it looks like it was somewhere in Kandiyohi County and Meeker County.
There you go.
So yeah, they normally don't even. They rarely, I think, even come into Minnesota except for like the very, very far north. So it's also unusual because people think of moose as like, these dumb, gentle creatures.
Yeah. No.
They are not gentle.
No.
And they are
no.
very, very big.
In Montana, when you see a moose, it's like seeing a bear. You get in your car.
Yeah, you get the hell away because they can kill you easily.
Oh, if you hit a moose, when you're on the highway, terrible things can happen
Yes.
because
Yes,
of their
it
center
can.
of gravity.
Yep.
A deer, usually they'll just flip up in the air and they'll be gone.
Yep. Deer's not going to survive that. Moose probably will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bull moose named Rut. They call him Rut the
Rut.
moose.
Well, we don't know. We haven't asked him. We've assumed his name is Rod.
Yeah.
It's his given name.
Yeah.
Indeed.
But yeah, he was as far south as like I think he was south of Hutchinson a few days ago.
Wow.
jeez.
Yeah, and they're speculating that it might have something wrong with it because they're not supposed to come this far south.
Mm.
But this one did.
What if he's looking for Gelfand
In all the wrong places.
in all the wrong?
Well,
I think
Meeker
he'll
County's not the
eventually-
place to look.
He'll eventually show up in Edina for the parade of homes.
They still have that,
Oh yeah, I think.
Oh,
they do.
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
even though interest is like 9%.
It's one home that they parade around.
I know, really.
Exactly. Parade around the one home.
I know interest is high, and yet prices continue to go up.
Tom, that's such a good point. And the parade of home always kind of blows my mind because people that are in it are very proud to be in it, but it's a lot of work. Like,
I
to be
would
in it.
never do that.
They
I would
reject me
ne-
year after year.
I'm so sorry. I've seen your place, and
I mean, look, I spent a lot of money on the retaining wall. I figured that would
Sure.
put me over the top. No, nothing. I mean, I don't know what you have to do to please these people.
It's like getting a booth at the state fair.
Very
No,
difficult.
it's very prestigious. Yeah, my neighbors who won't speak to me they'd start speaking to me. They'd have a new respect for me.
Because the
No,
whole
they
idea
wouldn't.
is
They'd
selling
get to
your
know you.
home, right?
Yeah, but some people are in the parade of homes aren't selling their homes; they're just showing it.
Yeah.
and they
That's
just
weird.
that's so weird.
Why would they want to show their home?
Why would you want
Because they
people
have
in your
s-
home?
Because they have such an artistic taste that everybody
Oh,
should come
God,
and look at
yes, so.
the way I live.
I already hate them.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
All right, that is going to do it for this show. The next show begins in about 4 minutes. Family show.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take personal care dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
In a world that's racing a mile a minute, a split-second distraction can change everything. I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw and Bryant. Every day we see too many people, heads buried in their phones, unaware of the dangers they're in. Texting and driving isn't just reckless, it's playing Russian roulette with your life and the lives of others. In just 4 seconds of distraction, you've driven the length of a football field. Is there any text message that's worth your life, that's worth the lives of others? I've been fighting for the rights of the injured for over 30 years, but I'd rather you never meet me in a courtroom. So hear me now. Stop texting and driving. Pay attention. Value your lives and the lives around you. And if you won't, know this. At Bradshaw and Bryant, we're relentless. We won't back down. We bring justice to those that need it.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
With Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
You need to know a guy for your auto repairs, legal issues, banking, and more. The same goes for investment advice. You need a guy to help you be successful, someone you can trust who gets results. Well, I got a guy for you, Josh Arnold. Josh gives you straight talk, not sugar-coated advice about your financial situation. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions, and Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. Do yourself a favor and call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You've got nothing to lose, and you'll get a different point of view for your investments. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That is 952-925-5608. You'll be glad that you did. And tell him his guy, Tom, sent you.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Barnard is a paid endorser.
Tom Barnard for Flagship Ford in Baldwin, Wisconsin. I'm happy to say I purchased an EV Mustang from Flagship and have friends and coworkers who bought new vehicles and used ones from this family-run dealership that's just 20 minutes west of the metro in Baldwin. Whether you want to compare their used car specials, claim Ford financing options, or simply book an oil change or tire rotation, they have you covered at Flagship Ford. New vehicles like the Ford Escape, the Edge, or F-150 pickups with special engine options. Flagship Ford can answer all your questions on your next new vehicle. The month of October is Tire Month. at Flagship Ford. Fit your tires for your specific vehicle, any model car, truck, or SUV, and get your tires before the snow flies, just $5 over cost. That's a purchase of 4 new tires with a $70 rebate gift card on top of the $5 over cost on most brands of tires. Flagship Ford, east of the Metro in Baldwin, Wisconsin, and online at flagshipford.com. That's flagshipford.com.
We're coming back.
It's horrible.
Looks like we're coming back.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to work with Gelfand anymore. Forget it. You're out of the mix.
Had to happen.
It had to
Just
happen.
a matter of time.
I'm the only one. Oh, no. Kevin's got his headphones on now.
Yep.
I was on the air when I said that, by the way. I want you to know that.
Yes, you were.
When I said, I'm not working with Gelfand anymore, he's out of the mix. Forget it. So what's happening? We're gonna go around the table, Andy.
Might as well.
Works for me.
We'll start with you again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show with
Andy Brandt Barnard.
Tevin Pittman.
Ben Penrod.
Mike Gelfand.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. So Ben, what's the latest?
The latest is I'm running Twin Cities Con this weekend at the convention center downtown.
So do you have to be a convict to come?
I hope not.
Where I grew up, a con was a different thing.
Right. Well, it's short for convention. So, yes.
Yeah,
It's a comic book convention.
Oh, is it really? It's a comic book convention?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Convention. So comic books still hot.
Hell yeah.
When I was a kid, I mean, I loved reading comic books. It was unbelievable.
And is this the type of convention where everybody dresses up as their
Oh
favorite?
yeah, so
they love
it's
that,
comic books and like everything kind of pop culture. We do everything now, so it's comic books, anime, cartoons, TV, movie.
You got the voices of Bandit and Chili from Bluey coming.
Yeah,
Ethan's too young to go,
son.
but
God.
Ethan is very, very into Bluey.
This is a huge deal for us. They have not done any conventions.
No, they
like
don't do a whole lot.
Well, they're in Australia,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
This was just something where I was like, I had the opportunity to bring them out, and it's a huge deal. Obviously, getting celebrities in from Australia is like, not something I couldn't fly everybody in from Australia, but this is a real special thing. Is that it's something that only Twin Cities Con has. There's conventions like this all over the country, but we're the only ones that have Bandit and Chili from Bluey.
Well, they had never even met each other until like a year and a half after the show started, I think, because it's all remote.
Yeah, today or tomorrow might be the first time there might be the second time they meet in person.
Yeah, they met on an Australian talk show I saw. But you got there's two other guests that you have coming that reminds me of something weird I saw on Halloween. You have Jay and Silent Bob coming in.
Oh yeah.
And I saw 2 like 14-year-old girls dressed up like them. And I'm like, how do you even know who those people are? Because you're way too young for that.
I think it's having a kind of a cultural moment. I think it's kind of coming back around. And I'm kind of, as I've been promoting this show for the past 6 months, I'm very surprised at the number of people who are really familiar with Jay and Silent Bob and the View Askew universe. And it's if you're 14 years old, there isn't really a better movie to watch than Mallrats, I don't think. I don't know that it holds up as a 40-year-old.
Malls, I don't know. Are malls even a thing anymore?
Oh, well, around here they are. Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we got the Mall of America, of course.
Yeah, but I think the days of kids
Hanging out.
and just hanging out, that's long gone.
It's definitely not as popular as it used to be. Oh, you got Steve Burns from Blue's Clues coming in.
Yeah. So he's another one who's like huge right now. So Blue's Clues in the early 2000s was like the show for little kids.
Yeah.
So we've got all these people who, some of them have their own kids now who grew up with this guy, as part of the major part of their childhood. And so they're going to come and get to actually meet him and take a picture with him, get his autograph or whatever. And it's a huge deal. And he's like the coolest guy from, I met him very briefly once before, but he's, everybody that I know that knows him is like, he's just such a cool guy. He's super nice and just super pleasant to meet.
Yeah. You have an insane amount of people coming in.
We have over 50 celebrities coming this year.
Who's the one you're looking forward to the most?
So, man, that's so hard. Danny Trejo is, just absolutely
He's
amazing.
terrific. Yep.
Tony Todd is a legend. And he was kind of a late addition to the lineup, and I'm really excited to meet him. Obviously, Dave and Melanie from Bluey that's a really huge deal. I'm excited to meet Kevin Smith again. I've met him once before, but he's such a big part of my development as a fan of pop culture that it feels kind of full circle to have him at my event, which there's no way that I'd be doing this right now if not for Kevin Smith, his films, and what they've meant to me as a, kind of a nerd comic book fan.
Man, I got to tell you, this is so great for me as the father. That's my son in there, Andy.
Oh, cool.
My son, Andy, but it's hilarious. He's been on this show. What have you been doing the family show now for what, 12 years, Andy?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, so everyone from Peter Falk and, you go, every big movie star ever has been on this show. Everybody who's ever won a Super Bowl, a World Series, Andy sits in there and it's like, oh, that's nice.
Yes.
You bring you in, it's like, oh, Ben, God.
Yeah, there are people that like I'll be super excited and it doesn't move the needle for Andy at all.
Not
But,
at all.
You mentioned the guy from Bluey, and here we go.
You got speaking of blue, you had the blue and red Rangers coming in from the original.
Oh yeah,
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Can we get Andy a ticket to the convention?
Yeah, can I get my son at your convention? My God.
I've never seen him so excited.
Yeah. I am not kidding you. We have had every person in the world on this show in studio. He's like, yeah, whatever, who cares?
Yeah.
You had all sorts of
Bluey!
people.
That's like my kids. So my kids are like that. They've grown up in this world where I'm like doing conventions. Like I don't know, probably 7 or 8 years ago, I introduced my son to William Shatner at a convention I was running.
Yep.
He's like, "Who's this old guy?"
Yeah.
And he was like 7 or 8. He doesn't care.
Yeah, no, of course
And
not.
so he's never, it's like he hasn't seen anything William Shatner's ever been in. But I guarantee, there's some like YouTube star that I've never heard of that they would lose their minds over.
Oh,
So
yeah,
it's,
PewDiePie or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like,
There he goes again.
Well, I wouldn't care if I'm too old for PewDiePie by a lot. But there's kids out there like the Twitch stars, YouTube stars. They would go insane, and we would be like, "Who in the hell is this?" And they'd be like, "Oh, he has 16 billion views on YouTube." It's like, how have I never heard of these people? But
yeah,
that's the generational gap for you.
Then you do realize you're gonna have to come in once a month from now on. It's just,
I live down in Bloomington, so
never-
just hit me up.
It's not a long drive.
It's not a long drive. We can do it all. Jane Fonda's here. Who gives a rat's ass? Ben, when you coming in? Honest to God, that's so great, Andy. I'm glad you're so enthusiastic about it.
That's what people you grew up with is who you're going to care about, to be honest.
I suppose that is
It doesn't
true.
really matter how famous they were. It matters how famous they were when you were a kid.
And I think about fan culture and this type of stuff a lot as it's my job, and it's the real thing is it's all about connections, and it's about how somebody connects with their audience, and it's like rock stars have to connect with their audience in a way that actors don't necessarily have to.
Yeah, true.
But some actors do connect with their audience that way, and you'll see actors who continually get cast. They might not be a huge movie star, but they have fans that will follow them around, and that's just as important. And if you've got, I like to think we book celebrities who maybe sometimes, a small fraction of people know who they are. They're not, Brad Pitt or George Clooney or somebody where everybody knows who they are, but those small percentage of people who know who they are, it's the most important person in their life that they could meet. And so that's, so I try to find people like that who have a connection with their audience in that way.
Well, I was going to say some of the biggest names I remember on the show, like being excited for, would be like Rob Paulson, for example.
Oh yeah.
Most people would have no idea who that is, but they've heard his voice and they didn't know it.
Yeah. So Rob Paulson is a very successful voice actor. He's in he's in the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. He's in Animaniacs. He's been in
Planescape Torment.
He's been in everything. Like he's if you look at his IMDb, he is just such a prolific voice actor.
You've seen something.
And you've definitely seen something that he's been in. And he's and if he's somebody that I would love to book for Twin Cities Con in the future. He's like one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah.
I've booked him for most of my other conventions at this point. We just got to get him up here to Minneapolis.
And I would assume that most of the people that aren't as well known, that maybe have a smaller following, almost feels like they get a bigger draw out because their fans are so fanatical because they've had to explain to everybody they meet who that person is. So now I need to come out here and show.
And and with the cosplay element, you see people coming and they're like, oh, well, there's, we've got a lot of the voice actors from Naruto, which is a very successful anime.
Believe it.
And so, somebody might, oh, I've got a cosplay from somebody from Naruto. And now the voice actor who does that character is going to be at the convention. Now that's, that's amazing. That's huge.
Yeah.
If you put all this effort into building your costume, and now the voice actor who portrays that character is going to be at the convention. So you can meet them and be like, hey, look, I've dressed as your character.
Have you been doing these conventions kind of since the beginning here in the Twin Cities? So have you seen, how far have you seen it grow?
So I'm still, this convention is still pretty new to the Twin Cities. So I started in, I'm from the Washington, D.C. area. I grew up in Maryland. And so I started Awesome Con in Washington, D.C. about 10 years ago. And that's a just massive 80,000 person convention now. And so we started this one in 2021, and it started really tiny, kind of post-pandemic. And then it grew. I think we had 20,000 people last year, and we're expecting about 30 this year.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Now, cartoons, are we all talking animation here? Do comic books still even exist?
Oh yeah, do they
really?
Well, so comic books, the collector's market for comic books is hotter than ever.
Oh, okay.
But then the actual comic books themselves are great because they're using all of the source material from the comics to make all of these superhero films that are like Avengers Endgame is highest grossing film of all time. Made over $2 billion in the box office. And when I was a kid in the 90s, I loved the Avengers, but I didn't have 3 friends who had ever heard of the Avengers. They might have heard of Captain America or Iron Man or something, but they didn't realize that they all got together in a team and fought all the aliens.
Now, the only reason I knew is because of all the video games they made where, Captain America and the Hulk and everything would team up.
Oh, yeah. Marvel versus Capcom.
Marvel versus Capcom, big one. They still haven't made a video game where Captain America fights Mega Man.
We really are.
We're gonna have Mike and I are gonna head home. You guys got this all locked
up. Well, now you know how I feel when you talk about meeting, Peter. Although Peter Falk, I would have been excited to meet.
Yeah, you would have been. Yeah,
but Jane Fonda, who cares?
One of the most beautiful women ever born.
Just shrugs his shoulders.
What? So comic books still do it, and now because when I was a kid, going all the way back to comic books, it was probably a whole different one because it wasn't superhero.
Oh, yeah. We think of Veronica,
Veronica
that
and
sort of stuff. I
Archie?
never owned any, but
Archie,
I always read them at the barber shop when I was waiting to get my haircut.
Yeah, you had the Archie comic books, you had Jughead and all those people.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So that doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, does it really?
So the Archie comics got adapted into a teen drama on the CW called Riverdale.
Oh, that's
which was a very successful
that's right.
TV show for a while. And then, we a friend of mine who we had at the convention last year, Dan Parent, is one of the major Archie artists. And he's awesome. And they're doing great. You still, you still see the big Archie digest at the checkout counter. It's still full of just, gags. I love it. Because you can read them really quick.
Yep. I loved reading them as a kid. There's no question about that.
This is so great. And, it makes me realize that I'm just hooked on reality. And, we're missing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I do remember when I was 4 years old, maybe 5, but I think I was 4 still. And my mother came in and said, Tom, what are you doing? Because I had the Sunday newspaper and I was staring at Dagwood's wife, Blondie.
Oh, she was a looker.
She was beautiful, man. I'm 4 years old. Man.
Well, sure. And we get indoctrinated pretty early.
We did back then, yes. Yeah. No question about it. I think it's nice to have, because people can kind of live in a mixture of the real world and and the animated world. That's a good thing for people.
Everybody does need to escape.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
And if you do
That's
you
exactly
escape
right.
this way, it's a lot better than the way most people escape.
I mean, then they're doing heroin.
Well, stuff, booze, heroin, fentanyl.
Don't do heroin. Go to the Comic-Con.
No.
Yes.
I still
That's
don't-
our new tagline.
Exactly.
Might work.
I still don't understand why they called that character Jughead. He didn't have a jug head. What'd they call him that for?
I think it had a different meaning.
Did it have
Yeah,
a different meaning?
that could be.
Jughead?
Well, isn't or no? That's Jarhead.
Jarhead.
I never thought
Jarhead,
about it.
yeah.
Honestly, I never thought about it.
Thing. Yeah.
What is it? You would think he'd have a big old bulbous looking head, but he doesn't.
I'll have to ask Dan next time I see him. He'll know. I guess he's the one writing the comics.
Nice pointy hat. He had always had that nice pointy hat. But I think it is good for people to escape from the real world, to come into this kind of situation, or animated films or any of these kind of things. I think it's really relaxing and good for particularly young children, say 9-10 years old, something like that.
Yeah.
Because their world is changing so quickly now.
Yeah, and it really helps to nurture the creative side of people, because that's something that kids don't really get to learn very well for the most part.
Yeah, no, I don't think there's any question about that.
I think that, I don't know, the conventions I go to, I'm sure, are not nearly as much fun. Like at my incel convention.
Yeah.
We don't really have a good time.
No, probably not.
I did get my 10-year pin, however. So there's something to be said for it. No, this is great. Yeah. I mean, we don't understand a word you're saying.
But Andy does, so that's good.
Yeah.
We have like entertainment reporters and stuff that come on and they'll say how Hollywood's getting feedback that people are tired of Marvel movies and stuff like that.
I couldn't think of it.
I'm sure that you have a completely different perspective on that kind of thing.
Man, I see where they're coming from, but like I just think back, like if you had told me at 13 years old that there were too many superhero movies, why are you like that's not like having too much money? You're like it's like what are you crazy? Like this is awesome. This is so cool. Like even a bad superhero movie, like it's not like I come out of the movie theater like, oh, I wish I'd spent my 2 hours at work.
Yeah.
Like, come on. They just watch people blow stuff up and save people. I don't know. Like it's awesome.
And one thing we've learned here is that these movies are just scratching the surface.
Yeah.
I mean, there's about 10,000 other characters that they could exploit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mean exploit. I mean,
write a storyline.
And the cool thing is to kind of see those characters kind of, sometimes you'll see those characters get a shot, like the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise is huge. And like, I mean, I'm a huge comic book fan. I've read so many comics, but I'd never even read any Guardians of the Galaxy comics growing up. They were like the really obscure thing, but these movies are amazing. You get the right creative team behind them, and it's good storytelling. It doesn't necessarily matter, what the actual characters are, as long as you relate to them.
So do you collect stuff? Do you have some pretty
So
cool stuff?
I've got OCD, so I try to collect less because I was borderline hoarding, but I keep a very small collection of things that are meaningful to me.
Yeah.
And I try to collect less things that are just sort of superfluous, but
I can relate.
But I do have, I used to collect a lot of comic books, and then I was, buying and selling comics. And at some point I was, the collection got I was stressing about it, which is not a good thing to do. You don't want to stress over your hobby. So I merged it into the inventory and sold it. I got a few things that I do keep, and I just collect experiences and memories and art. I collect art. So I have that's one of the cool things about the convention this weekend. If I can plug the convention again, but
absolutely.
we
Good
have
idea.
the artist alley. We have over 250 artists that are just selling their own work. And, I've been doing this for a while. I've got a nice original art collection that's mostly art from my friends or people that, have come to my conventions, and it's really cool stuff. And it's, you're not really necessarily paying fine art prices. You still got to, it's more expensive than buying just like an art print, but I have a pretty cool art collection, and I just moved, so I haven't put it all up in the house yet.
Where do you go to buy a comic book now?
So there's comic shops all over the area.
Oh, there are.
You
Okay.
can go online too, but I like to go. There's in Roseville, there's 2 shops, The Source and Comic Book College. Those are the 2 I kind of hit up back to back. There's but there's a few others all over the area. We go. I'm trying to think. There's Hot Comics. There's I got some of these guys are vending at my convention this weekend, so I got to remember their names. But there's Hot Comics. There's oh man, I can't think of all the places. There's a spot right over by the convention center. It's this little basement shop, and they've got a great collection of games and comics too. It's so cool.
Because the reason I asked you that is that back in my day, as a youth in America, living up north Minneapolis, you would go to Merwin Drugstore, right there in the corner of Lyndale and Broadway, had a huge selection of comic books. And then you could turn the corner, or not turn the corner, but turn to your right a little bit, and all of the albums and 45s would be all racked up.
Sure.
So you could see what's new and me.
You're not going to find those anymore.
No, you're not going to find those anymore. But it was a great experience as a little 9-year-old to go to Merwin Drugstore, go in and have a malt, come out and look at the comic books, but the new Beach Boys 45 that just came out. That was a wonderful thing to go through. It was a great time.
And then you could hit up the pharmacist for some White Crosses.
White Crosses, I could just do them right there anyway.
What
is?
Oh, you don't want to know the white. You never studied, huh?
Are there any black crosses?
Of course, there have to
yes,
be black
but
crosses.
they serve a different purpose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, those
White
are over dead
crosses
people.
are amphetamine.
Amphetamines, yeah.
Speed, baby.
Oh, you can still get those. They're just not
Yeah.
White Crosses anymore. Now they're Ritalin or the other one.
Yes.
Yeah, or methadone. I think that's
Yeah.
basically what they were. Yeah,
I mean
no,
they're all amphetamines. They all do the same thing.
we used to
but-
take them back in the 60s and 70s before tests, college tests. You'd
okay.
cram all night and you'd take these things,
Mhm.
and then like at 10 in the morning you'd take the test and you'd be totally out of control.
Yeah,
And
so it's like your Adderall type of thing.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Oh,
they
yeah.
still do that. I
Yeah,
don't think I
now-
ever stopped doing that.
Now they take them so they can play StarCraft 2 on a competitive level.
There you go. I don't know. I just think it was good for people to be able to. The longer I go in life, the more I get annoyed by the damn internet. I'm getting sick to death of them destroying everything. Those wonderful personal connections that you make, you just don't have those anymore.
I'm beginning to think it's not a fad.
It's not a fad.
Yeah.
I think you're probably right about
It's had a
that.
greater impact than the fax machine, that's for sure.
Yes, it has. There's no question about that. But no, it's just I did love that so much. I mean, it's great having you in because I'm getting all these floods of memories from when I was a little boy.
Well, and it really is great that these people will be engaging with each other. That's something everybody needs.
And that's, I think when I've talked to some people who were in this kind of events business before I got into it, but they said when the internet was becoming like a really big thing, there was a worry that like live events would kind of die out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I think what's happened is kind of the opposite, is that you spend so much time online, not in person, talking to people not in person, that having these big in-person events feels very special and necessary. And it's like, oh wow, this is somewhere I can go and really feel the vibe of being around people. And if you come to the convention this weekend, that's something that I really try very hard to curate, is like a feeling when you're just there, not necessarily a specific thing. Like everybody's there, you could be buying from some of our vendors, you can buy art, you could be meeting celebrities, you can be just showing off your cool costume. But the idea is you kind of walk in and you just feel this sort of buzz, and it's this positive energy that's everybody
very nice.
having a great time together. And it's such a cool thing. And the best of these types of Comic Cons have this amazing feeling that when you're there, and that's kind of my goal, is to get that happening. So, and it's for me, obviously my whole life is in-person events, and everybody's like, oh, are you going to stream your celebrity Q&A sessions? I'm like, no, you can buy a ticket and come see it yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm not streaming it. Like it's happening in this room one time, never again. You can come in and check it out or not.
Jeff in the chat has 4 boxes of comics that are bagged and boarded, whatever that means. And he would like to know where you think that he should bring them to sell.
Oh, so 4 boxes is a lot to just lug into the convention. But we have a number of, like I said, we've got a number of comic book dealers at the convention who would be happy to make an offer on his books. I don't, without seeing them, I have no idea, what they'd be worth. In my experience, as someone who used to buy and sell comics all the time, most conventions or most collections are 95% not worth very much. And then maybe
4 boxes of Action Comics #1.
Yes, 4. He's going to kill the market for Action Comics #1.
Do you run into a lot of counterfeit or knockoff people trying to make like fake comics? Like, because you hear art.
Comics are really tough to counterfeit because they're 20 plus pages.
Yeah.
Cards, sure.
Cards, I think you probably see more like Pokemon cards. It's a very big issue with Pokemon cards, which are at this point a very major collectible. I think Pokemon's probably the #1 media franchise in the world. Whether it's bigger than Star Wars, it's bigger than Batman. It's Pokemon is the biggest thing because it's card games, video games, cartoons, movies, everything. And so I think the Pokemon card games, the Pokemon cards are probably more counterfeited. That's a real issue. I don't know a whole lot about that. Like there's a whole, you could probably get your PhD in Pokemon cards.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know that much about it, but
a lot of big stores aren't selling them anymore because the theft issue is so bad. Because people will just steal them because they can be worth. You open up a pack and if there's this one specific card in there, you just made $500. So people are just stealing all the packs. It's specifically Pokemon cards.
So
the rest of them they don't care about.
Yeah, I think you can mostly find them in the stores again. There was a while where there was a shortage. This is like during the pandemic. There was a shortage on the Pokemon cards, and they were just getting stolen as soon as they put them out on the racks anyway. And they're like, well, we can just sell these online, and they'll sell just as fast since there's a shortage. But I think they've mostly started putting those back out. I think they're probably caught back up at this point.
So comic books.
Yeah,
this is very important to me because I need to know this. Can you go to the back of a comic book and still buy X-ray glasses?
I was going to say sea monkeys.
Sea monkeys.
The quality of the ads in the comic books has gone way down since I was a kid.
Oh,
no. I used to advertise in comic books, so that was cool. But it's been a few years since I've done that. But I used to when I was in Cub Scouts, they had like the Boys Life magazine.
Oh yeah,
and they had the same types of ads in there, and they would be like the thing that always got me was like it was like a hovercraft, and it was like you send them like $5, and then what they would do is you think you're getting this amazing hovercraft, but they send you instructions on how to make your own hovercraft,
of course,
using hundreds of dollars in materials and stuff you could never find. And then I think like Mythbusters maybe built one, and they're like, this thing doesn't even work, but nobody ever built it. Like you had to go get like a vacuum cleaner engine it was all this stuff. And so they just had this, it was just a scam to get $5 from everybody. And they send these phony instructions.
Old ads were always the best.
Those are great.
Well, because Pepsi had the one where they were like, if you have so many Pepsi points, you can get a jet, and like a F1 fighter jet.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And some kid who did the math, he was in college. He was like, okay, well, if I spend this much money, I can get enough tokens and whatever, get a jet. And so he sent it into Pepsi. He ended up suing them for false advertisement. Oh, no, they didn't have a jet.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah.
I was collecting this for nothing.
Yeah, surprise. But yeah, he ended up trying to sue them. Netflix made a documentary about it.
I think he did successfully sue them. Maybe.
So you probably got a model kit, right?
Well, they tried to say that it was obviously a joke, but then they changed the ad.
It wasn't a joke.
It was a joke.
Not to this kid.
Yeah, not to him.
Right. And he got some sort of offer back as a settlement, and he said, no, I'm going to continue forward. And then I believe he ended up getting nothing, or pretty much next to nothing.
Oh, that's too bad.
The ads that I remember most were the testimonials. Like George Atlas used to be a 98-pound weakling.
Oh, yeah. The Atlas system.
Yeah, and I thought, well, wait a minute now. I'm like 10 years old, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm a 98-pound weakling.
Yeah,
Except that I actually weighed about 65 pounds when I was that age.
Well, that's probably
so.
True.
I figured it wasn't for me. It was only for 98-pound weaklings.
Is there one comic book in the world that's by far the most expensive of them all? Because there's only one. Does anybody know that?
So the most
expensive or rare?
Is there one comic book that's
like specific
really up there?
issues? There's some that are worth tens of thousands of dollars, maybe hundreds of thousands.
So there are a few like $1 million comics. So
Really?
basically at this point it's a rarity of the comic book, but it's all based on like the condition of the book. So
Sure.
They have to be mint or else they're not really worth a whole lot.
Yeah, so like the highest the best condition Action Comics, which is the first appearance of Superman, which is kind of universally regarded as like the beginning of the golden age of comic books. That's always going to be the most valuable comic book. And it's just, it's whatever rich guy wants to say he's got the most valuable comic book. So that number keeps going way up.
So what would it cost now?
I don't know the last time it changed hands. I would assume it's probably in the 5 million range.
Oh, jeez. I don't think you can get that much for the Mormon plates.
But the thing about those pre-World War II comic books is that during World War II, they were doing paper drives, and comic books were thought of more as a periodical and not as a collectible until the 70s probably. So most of those pre-war comic books, and then the Superman book is 1938, I think. So most of them got pulped, and so there aren't very many of those around. And then so to say you have the highest condition book, that's worth probably double whatever the next one is, because you're just, it's a bragging right for a rich guy. It's like owning a sports franchise. It's like when you have so much money, you don't know what you can't buy another boat. So you buy, something that is so expensive, nobody else can get it, so it's just kind of bragging rights to say you have the best one. But then, there are few other like $1 million books. I think the first appearance of Spider-Man at whatever highest quality, obviously the first appearance of Batman is close behind the first appearance of Superman in that same thing.
It's like if you have a sealed copy of Super Mario Brothers, one of the most common video games on earth, but if it's sealed, factory sealed, it's worth hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Really?
Yeah. Something about just like being untouched through all this time really makes people want to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
I've been untouched for years and no one wants to collect me.
Can't even get them $100.
No.
But you're not factory new, so
that's for sure.
It's going to be a problem. Is it a joy to be still involved? Ballpark, how old are you?
I'm 40.
You're 40. Yeah. And to still be involved in this, you've kind of carried your childhood with you in a way.
Yeah. It's great. I mean, I never stopped, watching cartoons. I never stopped reading comic books. I never stopped playing video games. I get to be a big kid. I'm basically, mentally, I'm like 12 years old anyway. So this is perfect job for me in that regard. And then I also, as is my business, I have to stay on top of things. I have to talk to my kids and be like, hey, what are you guys watching? Let's watch, let's watch whatever you want to watch, because I need to know what's cool. Because like I started doing this about 10 years ago, and I was booking the celebrities I liked, and it was great. Business was good. But like the celebrities I like now as a 40-year-old, we're not as cool anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not cool. So I have to ask my kids like, hey, what do sure. I went to another convention. I saw this actor. What do you think of this guy? He's in anime, and I've never seen this anime before. And my son will be like, oh, this is like one of my favorite characters. And so, it's so I'm like, okay, cool. I know I can book this guy. He'll do all right. But I've got to, kind of stay on top of things, and it's, but that's good. I love that. I love it. It keeps me, I don't ever want to be like, oh, this is just for kids. Like I want to be in it. I probably at some point last year, I'd heard all the buzz that Bluey was making. And, I heard people talking about Bluey, and Bluey is a TV show for 4-year-olds. It's about a family of dogs.
I actually love
in
that
Australia.
show,
but the thing is,
exploded.
I put it on and I'm like, okay,
it's way better than you'd think.
This is good. This is legitimately good.
It is.
It's. I think for kids, it's great. I think it does a lot of cool things. Like they show kids using, they show the kids using the bathroom, which I know a lot of kids have. If you're that age, you're potty training. There's a lot of anxiety around it. Well, your favorite characters, they just hop on the toilet, don't even worry about it. That's great. That's such a good example, and it's normal. So I love that. And they talk about real issues that little kids face, but then it's also really funny. The parents are absolutely amazing in that show. They're like the kind of parents, like I want to be that kind of parent that the kids are always like, they're just doing this imaginary stuff and the parents buy in 100% every time. They're never like, oh, I don't want to play this game. They're always like, the kids are like, oh, we're playing dinosaurs or whatever. And then dad's like, I'm a dinosaur. And he just goes in 100%. And it's so cool.
Well, but he always complains about it too.
Well, he complains,
tickle crabs.
Yes. But then he does it, he always does it. And when he does it, he buys in 100%. There's and so.
Yeah. They'll be going like out in the street and like pretending like there's this one episode where they tell him that today is his first day. He was born yesterday.
Yes.
And so he doesn't know what the sun is and that sort of thing. And then they're going for a walk and he sees someone with a donut and he doesn't know what food is. So he just grabs the guy's donut and starts eating it. It's like, you do that in real life, you're going to get in trouble. But, a cartoon character is allowed to play pretend to that degree.
Yeah. And like, as somebody with no kids, I heard about Bluey because it made its rounds on social media because it's supposed to be the only show or one of the only shows where if your dog is watching it, they can see the colors.
Yeah, it's like
apparently
it's like somehow like keyed to like their spectrum. I don't know how real that
dogs are red-green colorblind. I know that much.
Oh, okay.
But I guess there's really not that much,
but yeah,
red-green difference in the show.
Yeah, so that's the show I leave on for my dog when I leave.
There you go.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, so he's a big Bluey fan.
I wondered why. I know several people who have a dog named Bluey. And now I know where they got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no question about it. But let me give you another example. We on Sunday night went to a Halloween party, and it was what are they, Andy? About 100 people there, something like that.
Yeah, probably about that.
These tables eating dinner. And all. Andy's son Ethan turns 2 next Tuesday, and he came, and a lot of kids, all the kids dressed up in costumes, right? And the joy on his face, not quite 2 yet. Oh, Yoshi.
Oh, yeah. He saw some 6-year-old kid dressed up as Yoshi.
Oh, that's
so cool.
Super into it. And see, watching that as a grandfather, I'm like, look how wonderful this is. He's all excited because he thinks the real Yoshi
is Yoshi. Yeah. Yep. So he goes up to the kid and starts grabbing at his face. You can't do that.
Of course.
Yeah, let's not do that part. That's probably not a good part. Is this what comic books were intended to do? I got to believe they were actually put out to make people happy rather than just make money. They make everybody happy.
Yeah, and it wasn't a huge business.
No,
for a long time. I think.
No,
it's. I think. Obviously, the periodical industry was very different back when they first started, but I think it's they're meant to be these fun little things that you can read really quickly. I think originally they were a dime, and you'd get like the Archie comics, which are just full of gags, and you'd have these like little romance comics that you something to read while you're on the
on the school bus or something,
on the school bus, or you're on the way to work, or you're in the bathroom or whatever. You've got a few minutes, you're like, oh, I can read this real quick. And I think that's kind of what the intention was. And it was they're bright and colorful, and if you look at the covers of like the really iconic books, there's kind of the undisputed like best ever comic book artist Jack Kirby. He was kind of he was behind all of the Marvel comics, and the pretty much all the Marvel comics characters were co-created by Jack Kirby. Captain America, Iron Man, the X-Men, and he had this way of his covers were advertising as well as being art, because you see things like the colors are so bold. There's, if you look, Avengers #4, which is one of my favorite comic book covers, is Captain America like jumping off the cover at you. And I absolutely loved it. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking like, imagine, you walk into the grocery store or the drugstore and you see this book and Captain America is jumping off the cover at you. And you're like, this book is literally reaching out to you. It almost doesn't matter what's inside of it. You're going to love it regardless.
Right.
Yeah, because I mean, before that, you saw a comic book cover and it was like, Wimpy holding a hamburger or something like that, And all of a sudden you're seeing these covers that someone clearly put hours and hours into, and you're like, this is a lot different than what I'm used to seeing.
Oh yeah.
Do you think this will go on forever? Because it does make people very, very happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I think times change, and obviously what's popular changes. I don't think, comic books and comics as a visual medium. I know web comics are really big also, and web comics are great because the barrier to entry is zero. You
Basically
just,
nothing.
you draw it and you put it on the internet,
Mhm.
and that's great. That's some, I wish it was that easy when I was a little kid. It would have been amazing because it costs almost $0 to put your stuff out there. Whereas,
well, the people who got in on the ground floor, Penny Arcade,
Oh,
for
yeah.
example, God, they made so much money just making these dumb little comics about two guys
Oh,
playing
yeah.
video games.
And-
But that these days, I don't know if you could do that. Probably not, because
well, there's still a lot, and then it's whether it's comic books or short videos on YouTube or TikTok or something like that. It all comes around. It's whatever sort of like this visual storytelling medium, and I don't think like comics and still art or sequential art is ever going to go away. I think it's always it's probably it was the first form of human communication. is
Yeah.
people
Cave
drawing
drawings,
pictures
yeah.
in caves. Like I don't think it's going anywhere.
I think that's terrific. Are there new young people getting involved? I mean, does somebody 18 years old go to college and go, I want to put out a comic book?
Oh, absolutely. And,
Really? That's
so
wonderful.
if you look at sort of the bestseller lists, there are some comic books that you wouldn't think of that are on the bestseller list. So there are a few people who are writing comics for kids, teenagers that we wouldn't recognize these books, but kids, teenagers now are way into it. So like there's an artist, author, Raina Telgemeier, I think is her name, but she is the undisputed, like top of the comics heap. Her books sell millions through Barnes and Noble and everything.
Oh, okay.
And they're not floppy comic books. They're thicker books, but she's a very, she's almost mainstream in that respect. And then there's, oh man, I can't think of his name, but he writes the Dog Man comics. And if you go into Barnes and Noble, you'll see a full end cap of Dog Man books there. He's a huge deal, but it's just it's a newer thing, but it reaches out to kids now. And like, I don't necessarily, I don't know the first thing about Dog Man. I just see that the dude's selling millions of books, and it's connecting with its audience.
This is a great thing because a lot of people used to want to be cartoonists.
Yeah.
Now nobody wants to be one now, but now they have another direction they can go in.
Yeah.
There's always going to be a creative outlet out there for someone.
Yeah.
One could only hope. I suppose we better talk about the specifics of the convention itself, where it is.
Yeah.
And, no, I in a way kind of apologize because I was so fascinated by the whole business and all that. And all of a sudden I just realized, God, we got to talk about the convention, when it is, where it is, all these different things. So when is the convention?
So the convention is November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Minneapolis Convention Center.
So tomorrow.
Yeah. So starting tomorrow, yes, we're setting up today. So right now it's they're building a small city at the moment.
How do I get tickets if I want to go?
So you go to twincitiescon.com to buy tickets, or you can just show up and buy tickets from us at the door.
Oh, awesome.
Now, how much of the convention center are you taking up?
So we're in, give or take, about half.
Really?
Yeah. So we've
That's a
got
big show.
Our big exhibit hall is 200,000 square feet, and then we've got, I don't know, probably half of the meeting rooms and the big ballroom also.
God, really?
This is an industry.
Yeah, it's really cool. So it's a this is my business. We run 7 or 8 conventions all year throughout the country.
Oh, okay.
And then, but the cool thing is, like, we have over 500 exhibitors, I think, at the convention, between artists and people selling retail type stuff. So you come in and it's this huge room of booths, and it's like a flea market for nerds almost. But it's like we've got one area that's all artists who are selling their own work, and then we've got another area that is all vendors selling, comic books, collectible toys, T-shirts, action figures, video games, whatever. They're everything.
This has got to be huge when people want to come to Minnesota in November.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, there's no better time for this show, in my opinion, for local people. Is like, it's the perfect weather for like an indoor event.
Correct.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Oh, yeah,
No
indoor
question.
events are huge when it gets cold in Minnesota because it's what else are you going to do?
Right. Yeah. The only time I'm leaving my house is to go indoors somewhere else.
Yep.
It's very negative.
Well, that's why they say comedy, its biggest season in Minnesota is the winter.
Yeah, I couldn't run this in the summer because people are, they're
Doing
doing stuff
stuff.
outside. They're
Yeah.
doing, and it's there's too much other stuff going on. So, I think, this is kind of the perfect time of year for us.
Oh, I think you're absolutely right. All right, we'll go around the room. You'll have final questions for everybody. Andy, did you get all your questions answered?
Pretty much, I think.
Any other additional?
This is a whole new universe for me. So.
No, I find it fascinating.
It
because
is.
We're
It's
talking
a whole new cinematic
We got
universe.
three different, not three, but two different generations here. Almost three different generations talking about this thing. And what did we find out? Basically, that the five guys in this room all got great joy from cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
From comic books.
And I was never growing up. I was always into sports and never really a big comic book person.
I've
but-
never read a comic book in my life,
Yeah.
but I'm
What?
very aware of the culture because of how it bleeds into video games at first.
Yep.
Where like, well, I mean, at first it was the TV shows, but the TV shows were kind of, the Adam West thing. It's like, is that really Batman? Or is that just a weirdo dressed up as Batman? But then it got
It's
into
really Batman for me.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we all love it, but it's more almost like self-parody than it is like the later movies where it got really serious. And for a lot of people, it's like Batman is very serious. He doesn't dance and make jokes, but that's another generational difference, I suppose.
Yeah, the video games like Spider-Man, the first one I think was PlayStation 2.
PS2, yep.
Yep.
The big
oh
one.
my gosh, I spent hours and hours and hours just swinging around New York. I thought.
Have you played the new ones?
I have not, but I have to check it out.
So I'm going to interrupt. So the Spider-Man 2, the new one for PS5 just came out like
it's brand
2
new.
weeks ago.
Yep.
It's amazing.
Really?
I haven't played it. My girlfriend played through the whole thing already. I try to avoid spoilers, but we've got the three main voices for that show, for that game. Peter Parker, Spider-Man, Miles Spider-Man, Miles Morales Spider-Man, and Tony Todd is Venom in it. So we've got the three main voices coming to the con this weekend.
That's awesome.
But I'm so excited for this game, dude. It is the
awesome.
most fun I've ever had playing a game. Is just swinging through New York.
Yeah, and it's definitely comic books and kind of that whole scene are more popular now because you'll see professional athletes are all huge nerds now, and which is awesome to see because I remember back in the day it was Brian Dawkins who played for the Eagles. He was like the lone one they had. Every time he was on TV, they were showing his Superman cars and stuff like that. And so now whenever you see the professional athletes, that's how you know it started to become mainstream.
Well, I remember years ago, was it Vin Diesel who plays Dungeons and Dragons? And people were like,
so.
I can't believe like a celebrity, a manly celebrity plays Dungeons and Dragons. And that was like a huge deal. But nowadays, if a celebrity says that they play video games, you're going to be like, sounds about right. Everyone does.
And athletes are it's pretty clear why they like this because a lot of athletes view themselves as superheroes.
They do.
That is true.
Yeah.
And they get treated like superheroes.
Anthony Edwards certainly thinks he's a superhero.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Oh, he might be.
Well, you're right. Yeah.
Vin
If he
Diesel
can
is
save
who
the
I was thinking of,
Timberwolves, he might be a superhero.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to happen, but yes.
Unbelievable.
No, I mean, my kids, especially my youngest son, who's almost 40, and he's a nerd, and he's
What? Your son's a nerd? Who ever
hard
heard of
to
that?
believe, yeah. Well,
It's really hard to believe.
Well, I would say all my kids are nerds in one way or another. But my youngest son he's he collects. He's still got his Pokemon collection.
Oh yeah,
and he's totally into this stuff. So I learn a little from there. But this is like going from kindergarten to a graduate program. What we've learned today.
No, it's true. No doubt. Any final words?
I just say thank you for the joy.
Oh no,
No, there you go. It was a lot
Thank you
of
guys for
fun.
having me. It's we're gonna have an awesome weekend, and everybody's it's just a fun place to come and have a great time, and it's gonna be super fun.
It is going to be. And again, it's at the convention center. Starts tomorrow and goes through Saturday.
Goes through Sunday.
Goes through Sunday. Yeah. Okay. Wanted to make sure. Ben, thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Have a great day. Bye.
Got a picture in my noggin reminds me of this one was before. Every time I hear the singing reminds me how you talk in my door.